acaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
Every day at 5 p.m. right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. It is local, state, and national news, the analysis and commentary you're not going to get anywhere else. All of that from a local perspective on the Joe Cunningham Show every day at 5 p.m.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
You're about to be hot. Your mic's about to be live. I'm going to put you live at 30 seconds. All right. Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. It is great to be with you today. 844-766-6607. As always, the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. John Blanchard, my good friends at Matthew James. Thank you, sir. How you doing? It is, we're in Baton Rouge in conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcast. And I always appreciate those guys and ladies and appreciate the company, too, for letting us come in here and do this and us letting us be a part of their family. We love all of our stations and the families that we get to meet as we go. But we'll be broadcasting here today. Got a little work to do today here and back in studio tomorrow. I do have some breaking news I'm going to get to in just a second. It just came to me, but a lot to cover. Laura Rodriguez at 9:30. Once again, three of our cities, with crime and all these things they use to determine what's a good city and bad city is out. So we do that at 9:30. 10:30, Derek Babcock's going to join us. He is the head of the Republican Party. Now, we went through the first round of closed primaries. Only about 25% of Republicans actually voted. We talked to Derek about that party things, and we'll visit with him at about 10:30. So we got a couple guests. I may have somebody at 11 yet, but still undetermined because I've gotten response from some people that want to come on, but I don't know if they're coming on or not. All right, so I just said there's some breaking news, which kind of startled me. Air Products will not proceed with Louisiana Clean Energy Project Company. They're saying here that the company's not coming now. On their website, if I can pull it up, which I can never pull up something when I need it. Air Products will not proceed with Louisiana June 30th. Air Products announced it will not proceed with Louisiana Clean Energy Complex Project. Appreciate the commitment, dedication to people who worked on the LCEC, and we want to express our sincere appreciation to many agency and business community partners, government officials, legislators, and people professionals, responsible corporate citizens. We're committed to executing the project properly. So they're leaving. This is the one around Ascension Parish in Maurepas, and we've been hearing about for a long, long time. So I don't think they're going anywhere, but on this project seems to be dead. And to be honest with you, without getting into a bunch of detail, because I'm not going to try to get into a bunch of detail, they're just releasing this. This is according to what's on their website. This is what was sent to me. But they claim they're teaming up with Saudi Arabia to do a project there instead of here. I don't know about jobs, all that kind of stuff, but I know it was a big deal. But they're now saying that they are not going to have this project here anymore. Air Products today announced it would not proceed with Louisiana Clean Energy Complex. So, and what I read, here it is. They said that finalized agreement with Yara for renewable ammonia from NEOM Green Hydrogen Project in Saudi Arabia. That's what I'm getting. So apparently they're going to shoot that project down. All right. That's just the breaking news that I have. So we had, by the way, I forgot to mention something yesterday. Election's over. I'm moving on. I mean, we ain't got to worry about election for 4 months, and most people are ready to move on, and then they'll deal with it when we got to deal with it again in November. But one of the things that I missed yesterday, which has nothing to do Letlow or Fleming, but really has a lot to do with Letlow and Fleming, because the one thing they did was they got rid of Bill Cassidy. I forgot to mention that. Cassidy is no longer there, and I still believe that that was the final thing with a lot of people. They wanted to get rid of Cassidy. And I forgot to say that because both of them ran, and they had gotten like 70 between them, 28 and 45. If my numbers are right, it's 73. So 73% of the people had voted for them two over Senator Cassidy. And so Cassidy will serve out the next 6 months, and then I believe Julia Letlow will be the next United States Senator. I don't think she have a problem. Me and Haldane was talking earlier today, and he mentioned that he don't like to jump out that quick ahead of stuff. And I understand Brian's concern, but I still believe that with the congressional races, you're going to see a lot more turnout. It's a fall election. You're going to see a lot more turnout. And I think most of the people that go and pull those congressional districts, remember 5 of the 6 are going to be Republicans. And the people that are going to be enthused to go vote are going to be the Republicans. And that's why I think Julia wins. I will say this, and Brian's actually producing for me too. He's welcome to join in. I say that because I just believe after 4 months, some of the stuff that you're reading on social media, that I ain't voting, I'm never voting again, I'm not voting for this one, I vote for the Democrat first. I think it's just people running on emotions. When it gets down to reality, and more people are going to go vote, they're going to get their voters out. These people that are running for congressional districts are pumped. They now know what they're doing. And so I think what that momentum's going to carry on. When you go in, you're not going to go Republican, Democrat. You might go Republican, I'm not going to vote, but I don't think many people would do that. I think most people will pull both. And you got to remember something else. And because I do know Julia better than people think, and I know the people around the campaign. If you think they're going to sit back and not run ads, you're wrong. They're going to run ads and campaigns like they're behind. That's going to be big, too, because the other side will not have that much money. Democrats aren't come and fight here. They're just not coming and bring money. They want to hold what they got. They want to try to beat Republicans in some areas. And I think when it comes down to it, Ms. Letlow's not going to have a problem. But she cannot not campaign.
We've never been down this path before, so I'm going to have concerns. It's part of my personality. What I don't want to be is, in the comparison I made on my show, is remember old school wrestling days, right? Like, let's say it's the Iron Sheik versus Hulk Hogan, right? And Iron
Sheik,
you're
going back on.
No, I know. Iron Sheik knocks Hulk Hogan to the ground, and it looks like he's knocked out. Does Iron Sheik get on top of Hulk Hogan, pin him, get that 3 count, and get out? No. What the Iron Sheik does is he walks around the ring, taunting the crowd, waving his fists in the air. He's taking a victory lap before the thing's over with, right? Meanwhile, on the ground, Hulk Hogan puts that hand up. He rises up, and he gets up off the ground. And by the time the Iron Sheik knows what hit him, he's done with. Hogan's pounding his fist, and then drops the leg on him, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, and he's out. I don't want to be the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but that wouldn't reality now, and I don't think that's going to be reality then. Well, Brian, I'm just saying there's going to be more to, Julia well, but the people that are around her, the people that, and I know people all around her because I was talking to them during the whole campaign.
Yeah.
But trust me, they're going to be out to win the race. So in other words, they're not going to be taking a victory lap. Following you on your scenario, right. They're not going to be taking a victory lap.
On Letlow's part, no, absolutely. She is a workhorse.
So that's why it won't happen that way.
No, I agree with you on the side of Letlow. What I'm concerned about, because we've never gone down this path before where we don't have a runoff in November. Whoever gets the most votes in November is the winner.
You can win with 48%.
Right. You could, yes. So if we see a scenario where Jamie Davis ends up with 46%, Julia Letlow ends up with 44%, and a Constitution Party candidate draws the anti-CCS Fleming vote over for 10%, now we're screwed. I don't put a great percentage on it happening, but I'm not closing the book on it.
I don't think the Democrat can get over 30, 35. I just don't think they don't have the money to get the vote out. That's not a cut on them. They just don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that that would have to be just about a perfect scenario. That'd be the perfect storm.
Congressman Cassidy.
I can't see that.
In November of 2020, before Congressman Cassidy was on everybody's doo-doo list, when he was still popular,
He was popular as a senator, too, for a while, too.
I'm sorry, Senator Cassidy.
Yeah.
Running for re-election in 2020, before he was on everybody's doo-doo list, he garnered 59% of the vote as an incumbent. He garnered 59% of the vote in 2020. So I believe, like I said, I agree with you. I think we're going to be fine. But
Brian, if you go back 2020, it's just a different time 6 years later. I can't see her getting less than 65. That's just me. And by the way, when Bill ran in, Bill had made some bad votes too. There's some people that were mad at him then. It just wasn't like it was after the Trump impeachment.
And by the way, the strongest Democrat on that ballot was Adrian Perkins. So
yeah, but I wasn't too strong.
And there was no divisiveness at that time, though. I mean, some people didn't like him, but there was no detractor candidate.
Yeah, that's all politics. I just think it's. I understand that, and I don't blame you for being. Listen, if they take it for granted, I think your scenario could play out. But you got to understand something, because if Jeff's still involved, and he will be, and they'll still have PACs, it's going to be a different campaign too. It's not going to be as big and bad and ugly, but they will have to light the other guy up. I just think she walks in. Now, once again, if they celebrate like you were saying, and that's all they do, that's a whole new ball game. But I don't think you're going to see a lot. I don't even see any cockiness at all in anything that's been done. I think everything's gotten dormant and quiet, and it should be for a couple. People are going to enjoy July and August for the summer.
Oh, yeah,
come
absolutely.
September, you're getting back to football season, our favorite time of year.
Right.
People go back to school. That's when you can start focusing on that, which would be a little easier. Because right now, people are scattered all over the country and out the country and stuff like that. But by the way, and Brian, you ain't got a comment. I'll tell you after that. After the deal, before I take this break, because I got to take a break. It was announced. It was just sent to me. Air Products will not proceed with Louisiana's Clean Energy Project Company. It's on their website. They're not going to do anything. They're shutting it down. They said they finalized an agreement with, I'm going to say, Yara for renewable ammonia from NEOM Green Hydrogen Project in Saudi Arabia. It's just on their website right now. I'm just telling you, because you've been in the battle with all that stuff as well. All right, we're going to take a break. 844-766-6607. It's the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. Laura Rodriguez will join us at 9:32. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Have you recently cut a large check to Uncle Sam? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little-known provisions in the tax code that ultra-wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high-income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6- or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes, sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0TAX. That's 337-895-0829, or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique, and tax savings may vary.
At FMOL Health, we're leaning into our Franciscan missionaries of Our Lady heritage. A connected team, standing not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments, the hardest times. We teach, heal, pray, and laugh. We do all things with great love. Across our system, we share one belief. Providing the best care possible isn't a job. It's our calling. FMOL Health. This is how we help care.
Morning. So glad you're here.
Hi, Mrs. Broussard. J&J Exterminating is here to help.
So the thing we noticed was
ants along the back door when it rains.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where the
ants come in for a midnight snack if Tiny's bowl sits overnight.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the
think fast, Mom.
The window Jesse's broken 3 times.
Wow, you guys catch everything.
Comes with the job.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Hello, Acadiana. Earl Chasson here. Earl's Furniture is a proud sponsor of the Moon Griffon Show. Earl's has been servicing Acadiana for over 65 years. We accomplished this giving great prices, great selection, and great service. Earl's has the largest selection of lift chairs in the area. And most important, we have a repair shop to service any problems long after the sale. We carry brands like Best, Mayo, Craftmaster, and Von Bassett, all made in the USA. Celebrating 65 years, one of Acadiana's oldest and largest furniture stores, Earl's Furniture, on the Abbeville-Erath Highway at Grosse.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Southern Industrial Hydraulics, serving all of Louisiana, but they do the right thing for the right reason the first time. Call them at 337-457-4181.
You're hot.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, 844-766-6607. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Talk 107.3 FM. My good friends at Guarantee Broadcasting. Brian Haldane sitting in as I think Brian's kind of my second producer. My pitch guy. I can throw stuff at him.
We'll work
all
with
kind
that.
of stuff.
We can work with that.
So, Judge lifts the order on Governor Landry's school funding cut. The judge lifts the order. In other words, they can go forth and, it's funny they talking about this cut, but it's really not a cut. It's moving money around from one place to the next. That's all it is. The judge had blocked this, and now they say that they can move the money around so teachers get pay raise. And I understand. Schools, listen, all these school systems and local governments and all that all strapped for money. But the problem is we keep thinking this money grows on trees. You just go pick it anytime you want to. If teachers are a priority, then pay them. It's kind of like I say with DOTD and with our state. The reason we don't have pretty roads and good roads has never been a top priority. Somebody asked, matter of fact, this morning I was talking to Kate. We're talking about the roads. The man, I came out of Texas, and he says, not that Texas he thought had the greatest roads in the world, but he said, I can tell when I hit Louisiana. And I've always said this, the reason people, and I've been saying this probably for 25 years, the reason our roads are not fixed and our roads are not better is because it's never been a top priority. And as we elect new governors and new representatives and new leadership, they play with those roads all the time. What looks like we head in this direction, they'll change it overnight. And if roads were and same thing with teachers' pay raise, I know this education-wise, if you look in the South, per pupil spending and amount of money we spend is at the top. It just is. Now, if you do national average, not as pretty. But in the South, we put out a lot of money. In the state of Louisiana, where we lost a lot of kids, we still putting out a lot of money. And I think it's a matter of priority. So I've been the guy, I never forget this. This is true story if I ever told you one on air. I am at grocery store. This was 15, 20 years ago. I am at a grocery store, and all this teacher pay raise came up. And I got a lady eyeing me down in the vegetable section. And you can just out of your corner of your eye, you see somebody. This lady's looking at me, and she's tapping her toes. And I kind of made a little round, and I kind of kept going, man, this lady, I think, is this like, am I paranoid? Is she looking at me? So I kind of whipped over there to go by her. And, like you do in the grocery store, hey, how you doing? Hey. I said, hey, how you doing? She goes, well. Now I know she's talking to me. I said, ma'am. She said, well. I said, what can I do for you? She said, well, what do you think? What do you think teachers ought to make? And I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, I know it was the summer. I was talking about the teacher pay raise. And I said, well, ma'am, how often do you get to listen to me? She said, well, I can't when I'm at school. She wasn't happy with me. And I said, well, ma'am, I'm the one that always said, I think teachers ought to make $100,000 a year. And her jaw dropped. She went, huh? I said, yeah, I think teachers ought to make $100,000 a year. She said, well, what I heard somebody say, and I said, well, that's the problem you heard somebody say it. I said, you pay y'all $100,000 a year. I never have to listen about teachers' pay raise ever again. And we can focus on getting better students out of the system. And I said, and then did she talk to me? And did she agree with a lot of things that I was saying after we talked? But I said, I wish y'all made $100,000. I'm just tired of talking about teacher pay raise. That's all we talk about 33 years I've been on as teacher pay raise. So why don't we pay teachers, put them at the top of the deal, highest in the country. You can keep the good ones. You will address people coming in. And then we can now we need to find out, ma'am, how do we get students at a higher level? How do we get students at a better level? And I said, now we can concentrate on just the kids. And by the way, I get home, my wife goes, where have you been? I said, I'm talking to a teacher. The teacher was talking to me. And I stayed in the grocery store to make sure I heard, how you doing, brother? Everything she had to say. And me and her agreed on about 98% of it. But she eyed me down. And so I wish this was never an argument again. So governors, I tell you this, the governor's doing everything he can to get teachers pay raises. Everybody's not agreeing on the process, but I at least think he's trying to get there. All right, according to this, we got to take another break. Laura Rodriguez will give us a call, and we'll talk to her about our cities and the problems we're having. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show right here at Guaranteed Broadcasting, Talk 107.3 FM in Baton Rouge. We'll be right back.
Hit the road this summer in a new Chevy from Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Right now, take $12,000 off the MSRP on a new 2026 Silverado 1500, or take $13,000 off the MSRP with trade assistance. Take $2,500 off the MSRP on all new 2026 Chevy Trax in stock, or take $3,000 off the MSRP with GMF down payment assistance. Plus, when you buy a new Chevy from Service Chevrolet Cadillac, it comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hurry to Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership. Our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your Super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Silverado dealer discount $6,000, GM rebate $6,000, 2012 or newer trade assist $1,000, LT or RST package 5.3 V8, Trax dealer discount $2,500, GMF down payment $500. All offers plus tax, title, and license. Excludes $436 Scott, $15 notary, and $23 convenience. In stock units. See dealer for details. Expires 7/7/26. Claims based on current GM data.
Hey, folks, looking to buy or sell land? Wildlife Land Group and its partners proudly serve Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Colorado. Our accredited land consultants specialize in timberland, cattle ranches, hunting, and recreational property, transitional and development tracts, and farmland too. Rice and crawfish, row crops, you name it. From individual landowners to publicly traded companies, Wildlife Land Group is hands-on through the entire process. Love the opportunity to serve you. Call Wildlife Land Group today at 337-345-1797. That's 337-345-1797. J. Davison, broker.
Louisiana's oil and gas industry creates thousands of good-paying jobs, but a flood of coastal lawsuits threatens it all. While billboard lawyers reach for massive payouts, Louisiana workers pay the price. The facts: energy employment down 40%, offshore energy production cut in half, over $1 billion gone, greedy lawyers chasing lottery payouts at the expense of Louisiana families. We don't need more lawsuits. We need more jobs. Learn more at growlouisianacoalition.com.
Back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift. Like, I got this. I can do this. Before I felt defeated. Now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Like sunshine coming out.
And how about working more comfortably like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. Visit us on Ambassador Caffrey Parkway next to Chicken Salad Chick, Baton Rouge in Town Center next to AT&T, and at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
When it comes to building something that lasts, experience matters. At Kishbot Construction, they're more than builders. They're partners in bringing your vision to life. From custom homes and renovations to commercial projects and site development, their team delivers quality craftsmanship, attention to detail, and results you can count on. Whether you're starting from the ground up or transforming an existing space, Kishbot Construction combines trusted expertise with a commitment to excellence on every project. Built on integrity, driven by quality, focused on you. That's Kishbot Construction. Contact Kishbot Construction today and discover why homeowners and businesses trust them to build their future. 337-278-9877. 337-278-9877. And online at kishbotconstruction.com. Community-minded, patriotic, and a vision for Lafayette's future. Kishbot Construction. Building confidence, building quality, building your vision.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Hey, Parker, you there? Hey, Parker.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Other people have been called the mouth of the South, but that's just typical liberal media bias. The Moon Griffon Show, every day 9 to noon on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Did you know that 1 in 14 children experience homelessness at some point in time in their life? The Gifting Grace Project, Acadiana's homeless children's
Parker, are you there?
seeks to help them. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to partner with us and donate today.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan.
Believer in
together.
communication.
Talk to
you
your
know,
family
right?
about seeing a
I think you
doctor.
just
Go to
communicate with them.
alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Unfiltered, unapologetic, and unavoidable. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
Take the guesses there.
You're live, but we can't do a caller right now.
All right. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607. Having a problem getting with the caller. I don't know what's going on, so we'll just move on and hopefully we'll get Laura Rodriguez back on. Huh? Tell you what you do, Brian, come over here and grab this out of my hand, sir. And if you'll find it right there and see if you can call her. We can try to get on another way. Good idea, Brian. All right, 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, if you'd like to be the program. And Brian, if you can't get a texter first and tell her what we're doing so she'll understand who's calling. We get a little bit of technical problem, but we hope to get it resolved. By the way, last thing on this is just this thing with the school funding. This is what happens when we got schools and local school districts and all that are run out of money, and they're always short of money. Everything's always money. So when you start doing something like teacher pay raise and you say, well, let's shift some money around, people go, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't see a problem with it for the simple reason is that if you're going to do something about teachers' pay raise, and this is a big deal, then it ought to be a priority. I always say pay the teachers first and be done with all that. So there's some other issues out there I wanted to. Oh, God have mercy. I almost forgot one. Let me find this. Did y'all see this? And if I get Laura on, we're going to jump gears. The Paris deputy mayor is blaming the United States carbon emissions for the deadly heat wave. Not making this up. Yeah. You read that? This is one of my favorite stories of the day. I think you got Laura on, don't you? Yeah, okay. Brian caught the story too, so good. He's already saw it. All right. We got her now. Laura Rodriguez, former city prosecutor. How you doing, Laura?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. All right. So I'm just telling my producer back in and Joe, we got her. We just went through Brian the Haldane way, which came straight into here. So we apologize for the technical problem. All right, Laura. So you have done a really good job of keeping up in New Orleans, and not only New Orleans, but looking at cities and the problems they have. And so now you're looking at Louisiana landing 2 of the worst run cities in America list. And I don't care what anybody says. When that stuff hits national and people can read it all over the world, it sticks. It hurts.
Yeah, I agree. It's a study that came out from Wallet Hub, and they do a lot of reporting on national statistics of cities and kind of evaluating. They focus on efficiency in cities and those sorts of things. And so they put out these reports, various times throughout the year. And this one is called, the headline here for Louisiana says Louisiana lands 2 on the worst run cities in America list. And the 2 cities they're focusing on there are Shreveport and New Orleans. And so when you look at the study, it should make sense to anybody living in New Orleans and Shreveport. They talk about crime, and they talk about not only that, but public services, infrastructure, safety, health services, education, financial stability. All those things determine, whether the city is a well-run city. And we know those 2 cities, Shreveport and New Orleans, have crime problems. People get confused because they see that crime is down, and crime is at historic lows all over the country. And there's kind of a lot of reasons for that, and we'll see some studies coming out on that, I'm sure, over the next few years to kind of talk about that. Crime always goes through ebbs and flows. This is the cycle of crime. You can date it back hundreds of years. It has spikes, and then it drops, and then it spikes, and then it drops. So we're in one of the low points of crime, but that Louisiana, the cities that lead in crime are still in the top 10 or top 15 most dangerous cities. So in other words, the whole country has come down on crime, but per capita, we're still the more dangerous in the country in those cities like Shreveport and New Orleans. So you just got to remember that when we talk about crime.
Mm-hmm.
But this doesn't just talk about crime. It talks about financial stability, and the economy. And those are important factors because we want to know, are these cities doing well financially, and are they being run well? And we see that, these 2 cities, and it's no surprise to anybody, are in the bottom. I mean, you've covered on your show, New Orleans is in a financial crisis. They're borrowing hundreds of millions of dollars, trying to get the state to approve another $100 million bond in just a few weeks. They're borrowing from casinos down here in New Orleans. They are.
Hold up,
really
stop right there.
the
government can borrow from a casino.
Well, what they're doing is they're basically, that's really, in fact, it was like a running joke here saying that the mayor had gotten a payday loan. She basically leveraged rent from a casino in New Orleans and forfeited millions of dollars in future rent and said, look, we'll give you this cost, if you agree to pay us the next 30 years worth of rent right now.
But let me stop right there. Laura, now you're an attorney. Is that legal? That doesn't even sound legal to me. And I'm just off the top of my head, doesn't even sound legal.
Legally, it seems like it's going to be okay. Financially, it does not seem like a good idea. What that means is we're forfeiting. In other words, the casino is saying, that's fine. I'll give you this money up front. It's a payday loan. But on the tail end, you're going to lose millions because now I got you by the throat. And I'm going to loan you this money now because you're desperate for it. But in exchange, I'm not going to give you as much as I would have given you had I had to pay this rent every year. So it really is like the street corner payday loan we were getting in the city. But all of those things are signs of, massive financial insecurity. Look, those people who live here, everybody comes to New Orleans for the good food. That's known nationwide. And every headline every week is restaurants shutting down in New Orleans. There was construction down on the famous Decatur Street that has been going on for months and months, almost a year, forcing 4 or 5 major restaurants there to shut down. Very devastating. They're actually suing the city now, saying that you guys set up construction projects that blocked our streets, and we can't even now. You've ruined our business. So all of these factors kind of going into.
Hey, Laura, let me real quick. This just came in. All born illegally here are citizens. It's done. They ruled against it. I'm sorry to break in, but that was one we've been waiting to talk to Paul and everybody else. So
we've been waiting on that one.
That one is didn't go the way I was hoping it'd go, but it is what it is. All right, go ahead, Laura. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought I'd break the news.
No, that's good. Look, Supreme Court, a lot of landmark decisions coming out of Supreme Court. Very, very important. They will be shaping policy for decades to come. So I think everybody is disappointed in that. Kind of thought it might happen that way. We were getting signs of that, but very disappointing to see it go that way, and that'll affect policy for years to come. So,
well, the other one was they did rule in the trans that state laws protecting women's sports.
The Supreme Court has upheld state laws banning transgender girls and women from playing on school athletic teams. No trans in girls sports. Yeah,
no trans in girls sports. And that was a good ruling, but this one right here kind of stuck because now they're going to continue to do it at an alarming rate.
Yeah, and we have an the immigration problem. They're trying, they're pushing, but let me tell you, we are not near solving that problem. I mean, we have a lot of work to do there. I'm glad they gave the power back to the states on the sports. That's where it belongs, and I think we need to see a lot more rulings go that way. In terms of letting people decide what's best for them, and that to me was, a no-brainer. So happy to see common sense prevail there.
Yeah, the other one real quick was the one that wrote it yesterday that you can have mail-in ballots counted after the election. Actually, Mississippi, which is considered a red state, which I was real disappointed in that one. But my disappointment in that one is that Roberts and Barrett from right here in Louisiana went 5-4 with the 3 really leftist justices. And that I thought, wow, that's really a bad vote in my book. I get it, but man, you can't allow people to count vote weeks after the election. I just don't make it. Everybody's got a deadline. I got a deadline. On things that I got to do, and that deadline is come and gone. You're done. Just, I can tell people right here, the first November, after the first Tuesday in November, after the first Monday, we have national elections every 2 years. That is a fact. Now, why can't people get their vote in before that? Or by that day.
With that.
If you can't do that, then your vote shouldn't count. But in other states, it counts whenever they get it in. So I just thought that was an intriguing.
The system gives everybody plenty of fair opportunities to vote. You can early vote. You can vote on election day. There are ample opportunities. In my opinion, they should not be allowing the ballots to be counted after when we have been seeing so much manipulation of that.
Yeah,
they have not cleaned up that system, and until they do that, you can't allow it.
Well, Laura,
Laura,
hold on. Let me take this break because it's much needed. I got to take it now. We'll come back. We'll get into some other stuff with you. Laura Rodriguez. Let's take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show, our good friends Guarantee Broadcasting 107.3 FM. This is Moon Griffon. Hutco Roofing and Exteriors is the official roofing company of the Moon Griffon Show and are Louisiana's premier residential roofing contract. Remember, your roof protects everything, all your possessions, and most importantly, your family. And that's where Hutco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state, and that's why I endorse them. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, Hutco Roofing has you covered. Hutco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master, and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially now during hurricane season. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. HudcoRoofing.com. HudcoRoofing.com. They'll take care of you, I promise.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
Woo! It's Shucks time. It's always Shucks time. Shucks is awesome. If you ever go to Abbeville, you want some real seafood fresh off the boat, you got to go to Shucks, folks. And don't forget a new location in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and they're serving hot boiled crawfish right now. So you like your great seafood and shrimp and fish and oysters. Woo, you got to go to Shucks, folks, and have you a good time because they're waiting on you and they want to serve you. Shucks in Abbeville and Lake Charles and serving hot boiled crawfish right now. You got to go to Shucks, folks, and don't forget a new location in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
The Louisiana heat is here and your AC is working overtime. Don't wait until you're stuck without cool air. Schedule your $99 AC checkup today with CJ's Plumbing and HVAC Repair. Our professional tune-up includes a complete system inspection to improve efficiency, lower energy costs, and help prevent costly breakdowns. Call 337-234-9769 or visit cjsplumbingandrepair.com. That's cjsplumbingandrepair.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right. Free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feature soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to LouisianaStaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
Bold talk, big opinions, no apologies. This is the Moon Griffon Show.
Hi, all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. First of all, that's the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. I want to thank Talk 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcast for letting me use their studio. Ron Haldane sitting in as well, making sure my mic's open. Nice down handling phone calls. Laura Rodriguez, my special guest, former city prosecutor. I didn't mean to get you off subject, Laura, because I wanted to go back to the crime stuff.
Subject.
Yeah, it is, and you hadn't had a chance to read them, so it's not fair to kind of put you on the spot. I just thought some of the stuff.
Those are decisions that everybody's been kind of waiting for with breath bated. And look, I think what the public needs to realize is that one of the most important things any president will do, and any senator will do, especially as we're coming up on Senate elections, the continuation of them, is to appoint judges. The senators appoint not only federal judges, and we just saw an appointment come out to the Fifth Circuit, which affects us in New Orleans. It's a very conservative circuit. This appointment came from Kennedy just last night. The president just posted it. That is a Fifth Circuit appointment. Those appointments that they make to the judges and the senators make to United States attorneys are some of the most important decisions they will make. Otherwise, they're just one of 50 votes, one of 100 votes, one of, however many 100 votes on the House side. Those votes are just, a small, sort of a fraction of a difference they make. But what they do that matters big time and affects the future of the country is the appointment of judges. And so, I know we see Amy Coney Barrett, and I have to say, she is from New Orleans. She actually went to the same high school that I went to. We both went to Dominican High School. We both went to Notre Dame. So I have to say, I'm personally very disappointed in some of the decisions that she has made. And this, the mail-in ballot one being one of them, I disagree with that. I think until you have fixed the system, you cannot rely on those ballots being counted fairly. And I think that had to be addressed by the court. So now you have a public that really is not going to have much trust in that. We have that making national headlines all the time, whether this is being done fairly or not. And so, I think they did get that one wrong. I was disappointed to see her go that way in that ruling. But that is also, and I think Trump's been disappointed in some of her decisions. He has said that publicly. Those are the important decisions that the president will make, the United States Supreme Court. Trump has done a good job of trying to pick young people. That's important. He wants these conservative judges to stay for decades on that bench before another president can get there and undo sort of the policies that we expect to see.
Let me ask you a question. After you watch some rulings like this, Democrats get back in charge and stack the court. Could you imagine how many of these rulings are going to get to come back, and they're going to overturn as many as they can if they stack the court? That's why I get so disappointed and mad at the Republicans. I'm not asking them to stack the court. I'm just asking them to get some stuff done, because the one thing I give the Democrats, they're way tougher. They don't mind. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. And eventually, if they do everything they want to do, this won't be a recognizable country. So that's always been a frustration of mine. Republicans win. They learn to win elections. That's fine. But when it comes to governing, they don't put the hammer down. Democrats do.
Democrats do not waver from their agenda, and their policy. They will do whatever it takes to stack the court, get those appointments right. They will radicalize where they can. We see the movement coming in for socialism. Again, what we talked about before. Every 50 years or so, somebody thinks socialism is a shiny new idea. It's not. Everybody knows that. They don't read history books, but we see it happening. What starts in New York will trickle through the Democratic Party elsewhere. It's sort of the head of the snake there. So, we expect to see it in New York, and we'll expect California to follow suit. We're seeing it trickle up in Colorado already. That's going to be a massive issue the Democratic Party will have to tackle for 2028. Are they going to go lean into socialism? I mean, that's a major deal, but we know they will stack the court. And that's why I think Trump's biggest legacy, no matter what, all the things, he has fought a lot of hard fought battles. Some have worked out, some have not, but what he has tried to do with the Supreme Court will be his legacy. And so he's got to choose wisely. And what does that mean for us in Louisiana? Those senators, we have to keep a better, closer look at who they're appointing. Like I said, the Fifth Circuit is the most conservative circuit in the country. And our senator just got to pick a judge. That is a monumental decision. We certainly hope in the past we have seen that pay-to-play game run strong in Louisiana with those appointments. I certainly hope we don't have that here. Time will tell. But that is the most powerful power that we give to our United States senators, the power to appoint federal judges.
Yeah.
They will rule on major cases to affect everything happening with us in Louisiana.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, it's just interesting when we get these Supreme Court decisions. I don't care who's on the court. It becomes every decision is so different. It's like they think one way on one and one way on the other. I mean, I'm tickled to death on the transports because it don't make sense to let a boy play in a girl's sport. But on this one, dealing with the birthright citizenship, I mean, I just don't know where that comes in, where if you can run across the border and you're illegal, now you're a citizen. I mean, I don't understand the mindset of a founder or anybody else that this is the way you do it. And by the way, they have played that game for a long time, and it's no telling how many people have become citizens because of. I'm just saying, I'm all for people coming over here and becoming citizens. Legally, if they do it, you'll never see me bat an eye because there ought to be a way to become a citizen. But it ought to be a way that's not just easy peasy. That's a pretty easy peasy.
Right. Yeah, I think what we see is, we need Supreme Court justices who they interpret the Constitution strictly. They're not swayed by emotion or sympathy. Everybody can make a sympathetic case for any cause. Really, you can make anything look sympathetic by pulling the heartstrings in certain directions, but we expect them to interpret the Constitution strictly. And that ruling is similar to what frustrates us with the mail-in ballots, is that the system is being abused. If we had people doing what was right and we had people using the legal process and, going through the citizenship process as they're supposed to, we wouldn't be here. The problem is that the system has been abused, mostly by the Democratic Party. They have weaponized it. They have leveraged it in voting. And so now we can't trust that system. And we certainly know that our founding fathers did not intend for that system to be used in that way. And so that's why it's disappointing to see our Supreme Court justices not come down with a ruling which was the intent of our Constitution. So yes, we see some inconsistencies here, and it really, the best you can tell is that it's contributed to sort of heartstrings being pulled, and that's not how we are supposed to interpret
By the way,
the law.
the inconsistencies always seem to come from Republicans and the so-called conservatives. I notice on the left, there's no inconsistencies. They flat out know what they want to do. They're going to do it, and they'll fight you to the death. They never seem to waver.
That's a problem we have in the Republican Party, and that's a good point that you have recently made, is when people get frustrated on the Republican side in the recent Senate election, and they say, well, I'm going to vote Democrat now.
I don't make no sense.
Remember, the Democrats will never vote for us on a Republican side.
Yeah.
So you cannot, that logic makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're the only fools who do things like that. They never do that.
Yeah.
So,
all right. All right, Miss Laura, I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right. God bless. All right. Got to take a break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back.
Town Square Media is proud to be the broadcast flagship of UL Raging Cajun Athletics. Games air on 103.3 and 1420 The Go, News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Classic Rock 105.1, and Hot 107.9. And Town Square's UL Booster sponsors are proud to support the broadcast of UL football, basketball, softball, and baseball. Please support these great businesses and bring all of the action into your car, home, smart speaker, on your phone, or wherever you work. If you'd like to become a UL Booster, it's easy to join the team. Join the broadcast of UL Raging Cajun Athletics by becoming a UL Booster. Just contact Mary Gallion, 337-962-9026. Thanks to some of our UL Booster sponsors, please support these great businesses.
Benjamin Moore at Harrison Paint,
Ross Tire,
The Auto Lemon Lawyer,
Big Will's Air Conditioning,
and South College Center.
You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court rules against the president. I'm Dave Anthony, and the final ruling just out ending this term. The justices have struck down a Trump order that aimed to undo what's called birthright citizenship.
Right off the bat, it says children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present present are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause.
It was a 6-3 decision in favor of that. Fox's Shannon Bream outside the court also details the dissent by Justice Clarence Thomas.
14th Amendment was enacted in the wake of the Civil War, quote, with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves, that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights by recognizing a constitutional right to citizenship for the children of all foreign birth tourists and illegal aliens.
No reaction yet from President Trump on that, but he did just post on Truth Social about another ruling out, calling it a big win.
West Virginia and Idaho laws banning transgender girls and women from female sports teams do not violate the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. More than 24 states have similar laws, and the court's decision will likely settle disputes in those cases as well. Writing for the majority, Justice Brett Kavanaugh lays out an interest in states protecting biological females to ensure competitive fairness.
Fox's Jared Halbert. And another ruling, the Supreme Court struck down a federal election law that set limits on how much political parties can spend in coordination with their candidates for president and Congress. They keep digging in Venezuela, hoping to find survivors. Time's though running out 6 days after double earthquakes. Fox's Nate Foy's there.
The devastation in La Guaira is widespread. Thousands living on the streets. Many of them need medical care. And that's where Christian aid organization Samaritan's Purse steps in. Today, they're opening their largest field hospital to help those in need.
America's listening to Fox News.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And here along the Gulf Coast, severe weather can leave you without power for days. Don't risk losing refrigerated medications, groceries, air conditioning, or power for essential medical devices. Keep your family safe and comfortable with a whole home generator from Prime Energy Solutions. Call Prime Energy Solutions today or head to primeenergysolutions.com and be ready for the storm rolling in.
Summer's here and the fun is roaring at Zooziana. Round up the kids and dive into a world of adventure right here at home. From towering giraffes to playful primates, there's an adventure waiting around every turn. Ride the safari train, take a spin on the carousel, and discover at the gem mine. Don't miss out on a wild summer of fun at Zooziana. Open daily, weather permitting. Free for members, where Ambassador Caffrey meets Highway 90. Buy tickets and memberships at Zooziana.com. Open throughout the 4th of July holiday.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org. or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
I taught for 20 years, until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit.
Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Yeah, you're live.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. On the road, Baton Rouge. Talk 107.3 FM. My good friends at Guarantee Broadcast. Appreciate them letting us do this. It's the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. I got Paul Hurd's going to join us in a few minutes to just visit about the decisions that were made today by the Supreme Court. Almost 9-0, then a 6-3, and then the 6, the voting on the deal. But I'm going to let him talk a little bit about it. So without further ado, Paul Hurd joins us. All right, Mr. Hurd, as simplified as you can. Remember, I tell people all the time, your attorneys can talk about something and sometimes lose us because we sit there and go, what's that mean? What's that mean? So you got to talk to it in our terms to make sure people understand. You understand all that stuff. Most of us don't, but appreciate you joining us. So talk about the two decisions that were brought down by the Supreme Court.
Well, and there's a third one that's to me relatively a minor one that has to do with campaign finance. But the two big ones, the good news is transgender athletes in West Virginia and Idaho, transgender men were prohibited from participating in female athletics. The Supreme Court held that exclusion of the transgender men from the women's sport did not violate the Equal Protection Clause, and it was not sex discrimination under Title IX. What that means is Title IX says you get a lot of federal money from us, but you can't discriminate based upon sex, and you must create opportunities for female athletics. It was being perversely reversed in trying to say, oh, well, you're discriminating against trans men as women, and therefore it violated 9. The Supreme Court said nonsense. And then the only interesting part about this case was it's a 9-0 decision under Title IX, meaning all of the justices agreed that this law did not discriminate based upon sex under Title IX. However, there is a concurrence that makes it really a 6-3, where the three usual liberal dissenters, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson, said they do not agree that it may be violating Equal Protection Clause. What they're doing is they're leaving open for another day an attempt to argue that the Equal Protection Clause protects trans males who want to play with females.
You know what I tell people? You know what I tell people, Paul, all the time. If you want to sell me that argument, I'm waiting for a woman. I'm just saying. I'm not down on anybody. Do whatever you want to be. I'm waiting for a woman to trans to a man and dominate a man's sport. And when that happens, then you got to go, whoa, 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 whoa. But that's not even talked. That's not even ever talked about because it's a forced issue on people. It's a forced issue.
There's no question. This is a perversion of language.
Yeah.
When it was interesting, we were all looking. Some of the lawyers were watching. We know Justice Jackson was confirmed and professed that she didn't know what a woman was.
Yeah.
So she couldn't answer to the Senate of,
I remember that.
Do you believe there's discrimination on women? So that's where we are. It was a perverse rhetorical argument.
But she voted. Thank you, Brian. She voted in the 9 nothing. She was part of the vote, but she didn't know what a woman was, I think, when Kennedy or whoever was asking the questions that time. Hawley, whoever
Well,
it was.
It's that, but another theme that you get in these opinions is it statutory or is it constitutional? Title IX is a statute. So she can rule in favor of Title IX, saying, well, I think Congress would not have allowed transgender men in. But that doesn't mean the issue of whether equal protection would protect that transgender man, his right to be a female athlete, which is hogwash. I mean, it just makes no sense. But she and the other two liberal justices are trying to reserve their powder on that issue for another day.
You know,
this is the next question becomes this: when a female athlete in a blue state that will not outlaw these people, take California, a female athlete in California says that she wants it violates her equal protection to not exclude these people. That it's not that she's got a right to be protected from transgender men in her sport. That's the reverse that we don't have. This is, I was thinking about it. It was like the election of Election Day. The states have the authority to come in and out if it's statutory. And so at this point, what you've got is if your state will protect you, the Supreme Court says that's a good law, but it doesn't make the states protect their female athletes unless they want to.
Yeah, you mentioned two states in this suit, but I'm taking when a Supreme Court rules on like this is every state. This was a ruling for everybody to follow at this point.
As it, you're correct.
But Paul, I've seen them do this, and I've seen them just, and I'm just telling you from a guy that reads a lot of stuff. I've seen them do this, and then all of a sudden the state jumps up and does absolutely opposite of what the Supreme Court said, and nobody does anything about it.
But in this case, for example, California can choose not to protect females from trans male athletes. This ruling says the protection of those females does not violate federal law statute Title IX. And Title IX is just the title that says females have the right to educational opportunities, including athletics. Okay. And so all they're saying is, while you can protect them, this case does not say that the state has to protect them.
Okay.
That's next year's fight, will be whether or not the Constitution mandates that female athletes be protected from competing against trans men athletes. But that's where we are. The good news is, on a practical level, if your state will protect you, you can be protected, and there's no federal judge that can tell you that law is not.
Okay, what if a state doesn't want to protect you?
This case doesn't deal with that. That's the next case.
So in other words, that's why I was asking you that, because in other words, what you're telling me, if I'm following this right, if California wants to continue to do this, they can. And until somebody goes back to court, it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, it says a state's law is going to overrule, but if the state doesn't want to protect the female athlete, they don't have to, and we're going to have another lawsuit on that.
That's right.
But that don't make, I'm trying to, once again, this is my feeble mind, I'm trying to think of you, either trans men can participate in women's sport or they can't. I don't understand how you saying, well, I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. I don't understand how the Supreme Court goes to the case and says, okay, if you got state laws, you can protect your women. But on the flip side, if you don't, then you have no argument until we go back to the court again. I'm trying to wrap that around. I don't understand that, because it's going to be dealing with the same thing.
It does not. The question is governmental power. The federal government says women shall have the right to participate. They had been sued, and the underlying court had said that violates equal protection and it violates Title IX, both federal laws. The Supreme Court said, you're wrong. That the right of the state to protect their women does not violate federal law. But it doesn't say that federal law requires that they be protected. It's freedom versus mandate. And that's the only way I can explain it to you. And welcome to us crazy lawyers. There's a difference between ordering someone, requiring someone to do something, and saying you are free to do either action as you choose fit, because federal law does not mandate either result. Now, no one's decided that second issue, or it could be said that this opinion would suggest that if a state doesn't protect these women because of the 6-3 decision, that it's not violating these protections, do not violate equal protection. State law protections do not violate federal law equal protection, that would suggest that the state may have an affirmative duty to protect his women. But that's not the question that the Supreme Court got to today.
I get what you're saying. The Supreme Court answered the question. The Supreme Court answered what the case was about. And what the Supreme Court's not doing is what the case might be about next time. Even though when you look at it, it's regarding the same thing, but it's two different questions. And so they can't address the other one. Like if California says, hey, we don't care, but they said, we're going to keep doing this. And they're going to have a,
they need a female athlete competing against a trans male athlete that claims that is a denial of equal protection based upon being her right to participate in female athletics. And it goes back up. Today's decision would suggest that that the 6-3 holding would suggest that those female athletes in unprotected states would be protected by the Supreme Court.
Paul,
but we don't know that.
Paul, let me do this. We'll take a quick break, come back, and I got about 6 minutes left where you can talk about the other one dealing with birthright citizenship. So hold on. Yep. My name is Moon Griffon. We're here in conjunction with our good friends at in Baton Rouge, 107.3 FM Talk, guaranteed broadcast, and we'll take a break. Be right back. You frustrated with healthcare? Sick of the rising costs and bureaucratic red tape in our current healthcare system? Outrageous premiums, and I know denied claims, confusing networks, and surprise bills? You do the right thing, eat well, stay active, make smart healthcare choices. Boom, the number one cause of bankruptcy is healthcare. Folks, that's why you ought to make the switch to Impact Health Sharing. Impact Health Sharing. It's not insurance. It's a powerful, smart alternative, a nationwide trusted community where people help share each other's eligible medical costs. It puts people over profits without the middleman and corporate bureaucracy. Save up to 50% on an average monthly cost. Keep your doctor, transparent pricing, comprehensive healthcare support, and rewards. Plus, get more value at no extra cost.
Hey, Moon, you hear me?
Go to impacthealthsharing.com/Moon.
Moon, you hear me?
Impacthealthsharing.com/Moon or call 855-378-6777. That's go to impacthealthsharing.com/Moon or call 855-378-6777. Spring is here. If you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo, roux, made right here in Acadiana. Folks, I'm telling you, good doesn't even cover it. Pick up Ragin' Cajun at your favorite grocery store or go to RaginCajunFoods.com, RaginCajunFoods.com. Ragin' Cajun, the original. Ask for it.
Good morning. So glad you're here.
Hi, Mrs. Duvall. J&J Exterminating is here to help.
We started noticing something around
the window trim on this side of the house.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is...
Where the wood sounds hollow from the termites snacking.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where my husband...
It's the high notes. Every time.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Starting this Friday at seizethedeal.com, the already half-off deals. We're taking an additional 50% off for a total of 75% off. This sale is good Friday through Sunday at seizethedeal.com from Town Square Media. Local restaurant deals that let you eat for 75% off this weekend only. Perfect for date nights, family dinners, and those spontaneous summer plans. Visit seizethedeal.com or grab the Seize the Deal app and start enjoying summer for 75% off this weekend only.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feature soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to louisianastaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I've known him for years. 1-800-256-1010.
You're live.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Griffon Show on the road, in conjunction with our good friends at Guarantee Broadcast, 107.3 FM. If you're driving through the Baton Rouge area, make sure you check out Brian Haldane, who you've heard on the program. I come on after him, so it takes a notch down before it goes back up. Anyway, make sure you check him out if you're through the area. Matthew James, Tax Pro Hotline. Attorney Paul Hurd. One more Supreme Court decision. I want to wrap up with that, and that was the one where illegals can still get, if they get across and they have a baby over here, it becomes a citizen. So a lot of people disappointed in that one. Talk about that one for as a perspective of, I guess everything stays the same, basically.
Well, here's the bad news. Here's a quote out of Roberts. At least he addressed the issue that we were all looking at, and that is with illegal immigration and baby tourism. Can you get a U.S. citizenship that easily? And here's what Roberts said. Children born of parents unlawfully or temporarily present in the United States satisfy both elements of the citizenship clause. And they are citizens at birth. And so what he held was there's a phrase in the citizenship phrase that says, if you're born here and subject to the jurisdiction hereof. And we've always thought, many lawyers, and I'm one of them, thought that and subject to the jurisdiction hereof related back to the concept of which sovereign are your parents loyal to. Loyal to in the sense of where were they born? Everybody has a citizenship. And the question is, do you get it because of who your parents are citizens of, or do you get it because of that you were born in Tennessee? And even if you snuck into Tennessee, and what Robert said today is it's constitutional. That's important. That means the only way to stop this now is a constitutional amendment that requires 2/3 of the states to agree to modify it. And that's not going to happen.
I'm about to say, good luck with that. I'll take the bet against that.
But by saying this, the Chinese baby tourism, or China, maybe if they can just ship enough people over here that are pregnant, they can outvote the heretofore historic citizens and just simply have enough babies and wait 20 years in their voting age, and then they all register to vote, and then they can make Peking our capital.
I don't think it'll go that far, but you've been having this go on for so long. I think people were. I think the president was really all the president was trying to do was just say, look, we just need to do it a little different than we've been doing because we have. I don't know how many illegals in this country. They say 12 million, 30 million, it might be 50 million. I have no idea. But sooner or later, if the wrong people get back in charge, I mean, I think amnesty is going to be something that's absolutely going to happen. I just don't know when.
Well, and if you think they're going to get amnesty, all of them, then this doesn't matter because their children will then be sovereign in our United States. And so it could very well, not only will they get amnesty, but I'll guarantee you Section B will say, and all of their children shall be deemed citizens as if born when their parents were citizens. And so it will be a blanket amnesty all the way generationally down. So
they're gonna be like we'll be like Europe one day in the fact that when it happens, it becomes too late to change. Then you start making, I don't know if it's the Switzerland or whatever. I read the other day where they want to stop. They got a certain number in their country. I don't know if it's approaching 10 million total people, and they're gonna put a limit on the number of people that can come across the border now because it went too far. But when something goes too far, it's not easily fixable. It becomes almost not fixable.
Well, it's a very narrow reading of the exception to birthright citizenship, and it goes against all the history of that exception because the way he has read it, he being the majority. Now, by the way, the majority is Roberts, Barrett, and the 3 liberal judges.
Mm-hmm.
It's the usual suspects.
Same one, son. Yeah. All right, look, Paul, just because of time, I got to go and I got to talk to somebody else. But thanks for kind of informing us what's going on. Appreciate it.
And glad to keep up with you.
All right. When we get back, head of the state Republican Party, Mr. Derek Badcock joins us. Boy, I got some tough questions for him today. Look at him going. I'm leaving. Don't go. We good. All right, we take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Superior Grill is all over Louisiana. Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill when I'm traveling the great state of Louisiana. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with that Louisiana twist. The menu has all your favorites: fajitas, nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, delicious hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You got to go to Superior for lunch or dinner. And folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. 5 locations in Louisiana: Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. Superior Grill is great food, great service, and great margaritas. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill.
Hit the road this summer in a new Chevy from Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Right now, take $12,000 off the MSRP on a new 2026 Silverado 1500. Or take $13,000 off the MSRP with trade assistance. Take $2,500 off the MSRP on all new 2026 Chevy Trax in stock. Or take $3,000 off the MSRP with GMF down payment assistance. Plus, when you buy a new Chevy from Service Chevrolet Cadillac, it comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hurry to Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership. Our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your Super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Catherine near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Silverado dealer discount $6,000. GM rebate $6,000. 2012 or newer trade assist $1,000. LT or RST package 5.3 V8. Jax dealer discount $2,500. GMF down payment $500. All offers plus tax, title, and license. Excludes $436 Scott, $15 notary, and $23 convenience. In stock units. See dealer for details. Expires 7/7/26. Claims based on current GM data.
In Louisiana, life on the road starts early and never really stops. It carries parents running late, crews clocking in, bikes cutting across neighborhoods, and fans headed somewhere loud. Some travel fast, some move slow, some walk, some ride, some work inches from traffic. Work, school, appointments, errands, life. Every choice matters. Every second connects. Because no matter where you're going or how you get there, we all meet on asphalt and concrete. Responsibility travels with you. One road. Brought to you by Louisiana Highway Safety Commission.
Town Square Media is proud to be the broadcast flagship of UL Raging Cajun Athletics. Games air on 103.3 and 1420 The Go. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Classic Rock 105.1, and Hot 107.9. And Town Square's UL Booster sponsors are proud to support the broadcast of UL football, basketball, softball, and baseball. Please support these great businesses and bring all of the action into your car, home, smart speaker, on your phone, or wherever you work. If you'd like to become a UL Booster, it's easy to join the team. Join the broadcast of UL Raging Cajun Athletics by becoming a UL Booster. Just contact Mary Gallion, 337-962-9026. Thanks to some of our UL Booster sponsors, please support these great businesses. Evangeline Home Center,
Roy Motors,
M&D Industries,
Brad Saloon, State Farm,
and Schilling Distributing.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Proving that wisdom and volume can coexist, this is the Moon Griffon Show.
You're hot.
Welcome back. This is the Moon Griffon Show. I am Moon. Brian Haldane sitting in as well. I got 22 producers today. You didn't know that, huh? But only one of them will dare get on a mic and it's you. All right, Talk 107.3 FM here in Baton Rouge with Guaranteed Broadcasting. And, of course, our friends at Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, Derek Babcock. Of course, heads up to the Louisiana State Republican Party. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Thrilled to be here with you. It's an exciting time in Louisiana. It's exciting times in our country, but especially here in Louisiana.
You know, how long have you been ahead of the party?
April of 2024, so just over 2 years.
Okay, so you've been able to run through 2 election cycles or just one?
Two.
So you saw total jungle primary and you saw closed primary.
Yes.
Okay. Not so much about your opinion, but what was the tone of both of them? Was it a different feeling?
In the jungles versus the
yeah,
closed,
just your feeling because you hear from everybody.
Well, I mean, it's certainly different. I mean, of course, in the jungle primary, you're competing with other party candidates, and any campaign is going to get ugly. In the closed primary, obviously, you've got the same party basically competing with each other, trying to win the nomination from the party. And so, you hate to see a lot of the negative that comes out of this. And it does get very heated. But at the end of the day, the purpose of the closed primary was to allow the Republicans to elect their Republican candidate and Democrats to elect their Democrat candidate, and then let those go into that general runoff.
Yeah, it was. I think having 4 or 5 months. Now it would have been 5, but it's 4 months. About 4 months before you run again, you got time to heal some hurt feelings.
And that's what we hope to do. Is at the end of the day, we want to win for the Republican Party. We want to send a keep that seat for the Republican Party, help support President Trump for the next 2 years. And so we're going to be 100% behind Julia Letlow and try to help her out. But yeah, I mean, that's the goal is again to win for the Republican Party.
Yeah, you've got and me and Brian's talked about it. We actually talked about it on air too. But it's unique because I don't think anything's going away. In other words, we're gonna have a little dead time. We got June, July, and August. It's just gonna be a dead time. I mean, people are vacationing, then they're gonna start gearing back up.
Right.
For school and football season and all that. And the candidates in Letlow's case, and remember though, the House races come back now, which makes the thing unique for turnout, if nothing else.
Right.
I got to believe June turnout is tough to get people to go vote.
Oh, it's
But
terrible.
I think in November, it's going to be like, okay, we used to vote in that time of year.
Right.
So it's going to be it's going to be a totally different set turnout.
Yeah. But and again, and this was again another reason for the closed. And I say closed primaries, it's technically an open primary, party primary, because it's not just Republicans or just Democrats that get to vote in that. But it is a party primary, and but it does give us more time than in the jungle primaries, where you only have a month in between the primary and the general for people to kind of catch their breath and heal a little bit and get behind the candidates in the runoff. So I think that it's going to help having the 4 months that we have.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
You know what question I'm going to ask.
Oh, okay.
Did we hurt ourselves when we pushed elections back? Because there's two different aspects of this. Number one, we have a month less to heal. But number two, we had a month more to hate each other.
Well,
so
look, I think
actually it was 6 weeks.
Yeah. It seemed like an eternity when it was happening.
I'm just being fair.
Yeah,
go ahead.
But no, I mean, I think we still certainly 5 months would have been better than 4, but I still think it's plenty of time. It's not 6 weeks like we'd have in a jungle.
Or actually, jungle was about 4 weeks.
About 4 or 5. A lot.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's even close to. It's not. Oh, anyway, don't matter. I know what you're saying.
Not enough time, right? So at least we've got a lot more time. You get a summertime, people can go on vacation, take catch their breath, and then we'll get back. And I'm sure August, September is going to heat up again. Obviously, as you get closer to November. But I feel good. I feel good about where we are with Congresswoman Letlow, and I think we'll win again in November. But
let me ask this concern, and it might go back to what Brian said. But you're talking about June. I don't think we've ever voted the week before 4th of July. Maybe we did. I don't know if we did. It hadn't been much.
Right.
Is it a you only really had 25%. Now the number may be a little bit off, Derek. It may be 26.3 or 24.2. Only about 25% of actual Republicans participate. Now, somebody can throw it in as closed primaries, but I mean, when you got a state that's all Republican, and y'all have done a heck of a job. Damn, I know you're getting ready to do something, but y'all done a heck of a job of getting people to go Republican.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the participation. Where's that part of the Republican triangle that should be part of what's changing here?
Well, and we are going to talk about registration, but again,
I hope not. But go
registration.
ahead.
At the end of the day, it's not about registration. It's about turnout. That's how elections are won. And so we do a lot to try to turn out the vote. But there's just, different reasons, unfortunately, that the turnout is typically low, and it was very low in this last election that we just had. But
by the way, I'm not asserting that it's your fault or the party's fault. People got to be responsible for their own actions. I mean, everybody. If you didn't know there was an election, you didn't watch TV.
Right.
You didn't listen to radio or internet or whatever. I just, everybody worries about how many people. Garrett Graves had a piece, all these people we voted last. I really don't, I've always said, I really don't care how many people go vote. I do care if they're informed.
Yeah.
Informed voter, having 50% turnout or 20% turnout with informed voters versus 80 with not informed, I'd rather have the 20%.
Right. Yeah. You'd rather have an informed electorate turning out. It's, I remember one time I was going to vote, and a guy walks in and he says, "If you don't know, vote no." And I just thought, well, how ignorant is that?
If you don't know, vote no.
That's what he said.
Brian, keep that. You gotta write that down.
Yeah. But, unfortunately, that's what some people do. They go in there and look, we want people to turn out and vote, but we want them to be informed on what they're voting on. And so
I would rather have an informed vote.
Absolutely. I mean, elections matter. It matters in who you're electing for, for office. It matters on, the constitutional amendments you're voting for, on local propositions. All those things mean something. And so it's important to be informed about what you're voting on. And look, if you disagree with it on solid reasons for whatever you disagree with, then fine, vote against it. But you ought to know what you're voting for or against and why.
How much pressure y'all got on it? Forget names at this point. I don't care about that. How much pressure was put on y'all to endorse? And let me tell you what, I'm gonna be a little different about endorse. If it's a Republican closed primary,
right,
the party doesn't have to endorse. The people are getting ready to speak on who they wanted. That's just me. I don't care if it's Bill Cassidy or who it is. You're getting ready to speak. You're getting ready to vote. Is Julia Letlow not the endorsement from the Republican Party? She's the endorsed candidate. When I say that, she won. That means the majority of Republicans, forget who didn't vote, voted for Julia Letlow. She becomes the endorsed candidate for the Republican Party. That ought to be the litmus test. But I know there was fights behind the scene of trying to get people to endorse people. But why endorse if it's a Republican closed primary?
Well, and so that was the idea of the executive committee and ultimately the RSCC as a whole, was to stay out of it. The primary goal of the Republican Party is to elect Republicans. And that's what we want to do. This is a closed party primary. It's open party primary, but party primary anyway. So only a Republican was getting elected in this race. There were some sincere emotions within the committee on what we should do. Ultimately, again, the committee decided to stay neutral in this, to try to just turn out the vote for the Republican.
But okay, let me flip it though, because in the jungle primary, everybody knows that the party came out for Jeff. Jeff won.
Right.
But that was a different situation. It was also because you had watched two elections where Bella was literally backed in twice.
Correct.
Okay. And I think the Republican Party, I'm not in the Republican Party, but I think the mindset was we can't do that again. Was that the mindset back then?
Well, what it is, of course, in a jungle, you're competing against other party candidates. And now you may have multiple Republicans in that race, but you're trying to beat other party candidates in the same race. And in the closed or the party primary, you're not trying to beat other party candidates. And so,
good point.
It was we wanted to stay out of this race. It's funny because there's so much, I guess, chatter and rumor out there about the intense pressure that we got.
I didn't know. I'm asking because I didn't know.
I didn't get any pressure. There were members of the committee who obviously had their favorite candidate that would like to have seen that candidate endorsed.
That's
understandable. I hear about all this pressure from the governor, and the governor never once called me about.
I never heard that. All I heard was that they had some people within that wanted to try to do something, and I didn't know because when y'all made a decision, I thought it was the right decision.
Yeah.
I did. All right, let me take a break. His name is Derek Babcock, head of the state Republican Party. We'll come back and wrap up with him. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Have you recently cut a large check to Uncle Sam? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little known provisions in the tax code that ultra wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6 or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0TAX. That's 337-895-0829 or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique and tax savings may vary.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana's oil and gas industry creates thousands of good-paying jobs, but a flood of coastal lawsuits threatens it all. While billboard lawyers reach for massive payouts, Louisiana workers pay the price. The facts: energy employment down 40%. Offshore energy production cut in half. Over $1 billion gone. Greedy lawyers chasing lottery payouts at the expense of Louisiana families. We don't need more lawsuits. We need more jobs. Learn more at growlouisianacoalition.com.
Everywhere you turn, people are advertising gold and silver coins and bullion. Problem is, it can take weeks to get your stuff, if it arrives at all, and you have to pay outrageous shipping charges along with jacked up prices. The solution? Go see Louis Pizzolatto at Coin and Treasure, 2472 West Congress, and get your gold and silver locally with less cost to you, and you'll leave with the product in your hand today, right now. Coin and Treasure, 2472 West Congress, where they buy and sell gold and silver every day.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feature soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to louisianastaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
Making sense and making noise, though not always in that order. This is the Moon Griffon Show.
You're live.
We good? Yeah, we good. I'm back hot. Okay. All right. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, 844-766-6607 is the number. Derek Babcock, my special guest. Good to see you again. It's been a while. I tried to stay out of your lane during the election. I did. I got more in Brian's lane than I did your lane because me and Brian would have some fun on it. One of the things that came out the other day, and I think you said it really wasn't supposed to yet, but it did, that the Republicans have overtaken Democrats. Now, the number I saw was just 26 votes.
Yes.
But I know that's going to keep registered voters, but I think that's going to keep climbing. But just your comments on that, because that's been going on for a while now.
Yeah, well, and so look, it's historic times. It's another reason why I'm excited to be here today to talk about this, because this is something that we saw it coming. We've worked hard to get to this point. When I took over as chairman, we were 148,000 registrations behind the Democrats. And so finally today we have surpassed the Democrats. And it's funny.
Is it a combination of you growing and them dwindling? It's just kind of a combination?
It's a combination.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a combination. And so, but it's historic times. This is the first time in Louisiana history that Republicans have surpassed Democrats. And so,
so where you going to raid next? No party?
Yeah, we went no party. We're coming after you. So.
Well, tell them what you brought today, because I'm sitting over here looking at this going, you got to be joking.
Well, and people say, well, first of all, they say, the few that know, I mean, we were going to do a big announcement and it's kind of leaked out. I know the Advocate had a story on it, and so we're talking about it today. But the margin's thin. But what's not thin is the trend. This has been happening for 20 years. It's every month consistently Democrats have lost registrations, Republicans have gained registrations. And so have no reason to believe that trend is going to change anytime soon. I think this is just the beginning. It's certainly not the ceiling. I think this is the floor. We'll continue to climb and widen that gap between the Republican and Democrat registrations. But a lot of people ask, well, why is this happening? And in my opinion, they say, well, there's this growing divide in Republican values and priorities and policies and Democrat values and policies. And that divide is growing. I think the mistake that people make is that they feel like it's, the parties are equally growing apart. And that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican Party has consistently stood for common sense conservative values. It's the Democrat Party that has drifted further and further away. And if you look at the issues like crime, Democrats used to support tough on crime. Bill Clinton, 94, had his crime bill. Now today we talk about.
By the way, that was all with the help of Republican Congress, wasn't it?
It was, but Democrats supported that. And that was the Democrat president at the time. And but today, it's defund the police and soft on crime DAs and this revolving judicial door that we have, put criminals back out on the streets. You look at border policy, immigration. Obama, Clinton, they supported border control. And today we're talking about sanctuary cities, and Democrats are fighting immigration enforcement, free speech. I mean, they're talking about cancel culture, and you look at education, and it used to be education was all about reading, writing, arithmetic, these things, and the Democrat Party supported that. But now, they want these curriculums that have that's full of their political agendas, and they want to talk about removing parents further from making the education decisions for their children. And so, the Republicans have always stood for parental involvement. They're sticking to the core things like reading, writing, arithmetic. Today we're fighting over, obviously, the little boys going in the girls' bathrooms. And so that divide has grown, but it's not because the Republican Party has really moved from where we've always been. It's the Democrat Party. And so I think that people see the results of what Democrat policies have done. And, I know a lot of Democrats that they'll tell you that, I didn't leave the party left me.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. That's why I think that the trend has been there and it's going to continue.
Yeah, it's just interesting. When I saw that number, I kind of chuckled a little bit because, like I said, Secretary of State, it came by. She would throw that out there that the Republicans were actually gaining and closing in on going over the top. And when I saw the number, I was kind of like, wow, it's already happened.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to happen for another year or two.
It was, we were pushing hard to make sure it happened this year. I thought we'd be closer to the end of the year. So I'm thrilled that it's happening now. And ironically, it's happening at a very historic time when we're about to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. So exciting times for us.
Well, no doubt about it. His name is Derek Babcock. He heads up the state party for the Louisiana Republicans. You, how long is your chairmanship? I'm gonna call it chairmanship. That might not be the proper word, but
2-year term. So
when is yours up again?
Be up again in 28.
Okay. So you would have some. Actually, you just got the new term.
I just got reelected in the beginning of the year.
Something you want to keep doing for a little longer?
I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
You know what? You better enjoy it because you got a lot of personalities pulling on you.
I do.
I don't mean that in a bad way. You just do.
Yeah. it's a tough job. I mean, it's a friend of mine told me he's in the legislature. He said, we all come down here wanting to do the right thing. We just don't always agree on what the right thing is.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. I think I'd take it a step further and say, even when we do agree on what the right thing is, we don't always agree on how to do it, And so everybody's got an opinion on what you should do, how you should do it. And it's
Brian, that's something you'll never hear me say. What he just said. I got a friend in the legislature. And by the way, that's not true, but I just thought I'd throw that out there for the hell of it, just for the fun. What the heck you got over here? You got some stuff written over here.
Look, you and I are friends, and I like to help my friends out.
After this, we may not be, but I just got a feeling.
And look, I know you're conservative. I know. Look, I'm gonna guess that you typically vote Republican when you go vote. And
I would say you probably right on the first two.
Yeah. So look, I think it means something for somebody who agrees with the value of the Republican Party to publicly stand with the values of the Republican Party. And so I know you're a no party.
Let me see what you got. The dude brought me a change of voter registration.
I sure did. I want to.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You had me re-registering as a Republican. I registered Republican as 18.
Okay.
And I got mad with some stuff that went on. Really, I never got mad at the party. I got mad at we would elect Republicans and they wouldn't act conservative. It had nothing to do with party.
Sure.
I bet y'all speaking more y'all events than anybody in the state, or as much as any.
Yeah.
But I thought party doing closed primaries. So guess what Moon was getting ready to have to do? Moon was getting ready to have to go be a Republican because I can vote in a Republican primary.
Yeah.
You had me already filled out. All I had to do was sign my name, and then they said no party people could vote in Republican on a Democrat primary.
Well,
I was not going to miss the vote, okay? So I told my wife, she said, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to go be a Republican.
Yeah.
She said, are you going to change back? I said, probably not. I said, I'm going to go ahead and I ain't the party flopping. I did it one time.
Right.
I was Republican at 18, and 19 years ago, I went no party. I didn't go independent. I went no party.
Yeah.
And I thought, if y'all leave it like this, they got me back. And I said, once I changed, I'm not changing back again.
Yeah. Well, we're working
you
on
had
that.
Me, dude. You had me.
So, and look, I get it. I mean, a closed party primary would probably move more people, but it's not just about that. It's about publicly standing.
Big question, because we don't have much time.
Okay.
Does the closed primary party stay now?
I'm
curious to see because of all of the headwinds out there.
Yeah, and technically right now it's open party primary. It's party primary, but I believe that stays, and I believe we build on it. And Rep. Billings had a great, I thought was a great bill to allow the parties to decide if the no party voters would get to vote in their party primaries. That bill,
of course, shut down.
It went through the House. Went through Senate committee. It just never got a chance on the Senate floor. Yeah. And so we're going to continue that fight. Yeah. And look, you do it either through legislation or litigation. Yeah. And one way or another, the party would like to see these primaries closed.
If they go back to do that, count me as one of your brethren.
Well,
all right, Derek, always a pleasure, man. You're welcome anytime. All right, we got to take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
All right.
There they had.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Bryson Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Bryson Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
This hour of news is brought to you by Matthew James Tax Pros. Online at MatthewJames.com.
You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. Landmark rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm Lisa Brady. Wrapping up their current term, the justices are blocking President Trump's effort to limit birthright citizenship.
Chief Justice John Roberts cites centuries of case law and the framers' intentions in rejecting an executive order intended to eliminate automatic citizenship to children born in the U.S., the parents living in the country illegally or temporarily. In his opinion, Roberts writes, if Congress intended to limit American citizenship to the children of those domiciled in the U.S., nothing in the succinct language of the Citizenship Clause conveyed that. Lower courts had blocked the executive order ahead of Supreme Court arguments in April. Justices Thomas, Alito, and Gorsuch dissented.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Justice Clarence Thomas writing that the 14th Amendment designed to secure equal rights for freed slaves has instead been, quote, repurposed for political projects that the Reconstruction Congress did not support. President Trump so far focusing on today's other rulings, including bans on transgender athletes in school-sponsored girls' sports. The High Court upholding bans in West Virginia and Idaho.
The NCAA, the Olympic Committee, and others have said that women that are biological should have freedom to compete in their particular leagues and their particular activities and events without biological males, biologically born males, being able to intrude on those spaces.
Fox's Shannon Bream at the court, which split along ideological lines. President Trump calling that a big win. He also calls a ruling on political spending a big win for Republicans and the First Amendment.
The majority opinion in the National Republican Senatorial Committee versus the Federal Election Commission found limits on how much money can be spent when a political party coordinates with its own candidate do violate free speech rights.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Justice Kavanaugh writing campaign finance limits must prevent corruption, but that caps on coordination go too far. America is listening to Fox News.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone. Because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Prime Energy Solutions wants to help you stay safe and ready as storm season begins. In support of storm season, we're reminding you to make a plan, build your emergency kit, and stay informed. Stay safe this season from Prime Energy Solutions.
When it comes to mowing, why spend your weekend riding in circles? Step up to a Country Clipper zero-turn mower from Chasson Brothers and experience the difference. With patented joystick steering, you'll enjoy smooth, easy control that makes mowing around trees, flower beds, and landscaping faster than ever. Country Clipper mowers are built tough with heavy-duty construction, powerful engines, and a signature stand-up deck that makes blade maintenance quick and simple. Less time in the shop, more time enjoying your yard. Whether you're maintaining a few acres or managing a large property, Country Clippers delivers professional quality results with comfort, reliability, and precision cut after cut. This season, don't just mow smarter with a Country Clipper zero-turn mower from Chasson Brothers on Pinhook next to the railroad tracks. And see why homeowners and professionals alike trust Country Clipper to get the job done right. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers, cutting time, not corners.
Town Square Media is proud to be the broadcast flagship of UL Raging Cajun Athletics. Games air on 103.3 and 1420 The Go, News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Classic Rock 105.1, and Hot 107.9. And Town Square's UL Booster sponsors are proud to support the broadcast of UL football, basketball, softball, and baseball. Please support these great businesses and bring all of the action into your car, home, smart speaker, on your phone, or wherever you work. If you'd like to become a UL Booster, it's easy to join the team. Join the broadcast of UL Raging Cajun Athletics by becoming a UL Booster. Just contact Mary Gallion, 337-962-9026. Thanks to some of our UL Booster sponsors, please support these great businesses. Fisher Early Childhood Development Center,
Burtno's Automotive,
Dixie Flooring Outlet,
Blues Outdoor and Repair,
Harrison Paint,
Acadian Ambulance,
and BJ's Pizza.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
You love. You love.
Hey, Brock. Thank you, Derek.
You love.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. 844-766-6607 is the number. Appreciate Derek Babcock. Always good to joke. I know Derek and been friends with Derek for a while, and it was really good to talk to him. Anyway, it is a Matthew James Tax Pro hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. moon@moongriffon.com. Let me see something. Oh, okay. Sorry, Brian. I was trying to read something, talking ass sometimes. Sometimes it don't supposed to go. That probably doesn't sound too cool.
Live radio, though, man. It happens. It happens. You don't know what's breaking and when it's breaking.
By the way, your buddy just texted me. I'll say our buddy, Mr. Corey.
Oh, yeah.
And Corey just said, thanks for having Derek on. Well, it's no problem. Derek slid me $50. He slid Brian just to get the mic $50. Hey, we happy he came by. We got lunch figured out today, don't we, Brian?
I know you do.
Yeah, but you will too, because when it's over, you're gonna get paid from me, and then you can go to lunch. So it works out.
That'll
pretty
work.
Good. I get a free lunch, but I'm giving you, so my free lunch just went away. All righty. I asked Joe. Joe did a really good job the other day on the constitutional amendments. Paul did too, and so I had asked Joe to give you a little take on it as well. And Paul didn't have enough time to dive in as much as Joe had, but Joe Cunningham. All right, Joe. So you got a couple of the amendments. Not amendments, but the Supreme Court decisions that came down the pipe that we just finished talking about as well. So what's your take?
The big one today was the the birthright citizenship case, and that largely came down how we expected. The Supreme Court said that the executive order wasn't going to fly. What kind of was surprising is the number. It came down as a 6-3 decision where I knew that Alito and Thomas were going to be in the dissent, but Gorsuch actually joined them as well, which was pretty interesting to see. What is important here is what the court said in its decision, which is basically that they went back like full on to English common law and everything to basically state that if you were within the borders, you were subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Because that's what the 14th Amendment says is all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the freedom or subject to the jurisdiction thereof. The assumption based on the previous court precedent is that subject to the jurisdiction thereof means you are within the United States, you could be arrested, you are subject to the United States laws. Therefore, whether you are a citizen or not, you count under the language of this amendment. So that is kind of what the main argument here was on. The Trump administration's argument, the reason for this executive order was to say, no, subject to the jurisdiction thereof means you are a citizen of the United States. The majority didn't agree with that. They leaned very heavily on the old Wong Kim Ark case, which was the case that initially established what we call birthright citizenship. And they rejected the argument that the government put forward that said the 14th Amendment requires a child's parents to be domiciled here. And the whole argument came over the word domicile. What if you live here, do you live here as a legal resident, or do you just live here within the borders? Is kind of what it came down to argument-wise. Like I said, kind of expected decision in terms of what they ruled. Kavanaugh in his concurring, well, it's kind of weird. It's listed as like a 6-3 decision or a 5-4 decision because Kavanaugh agreed with the majority but also disagreed with the majority in part. Basically, what he
took both sides of the issue.
Basically, yeah. But
man, I tell you what, that's a good moderate.
Yeah. So basically, what he argued, and is kind of where I figured the majority would go on this. Kavanaugh argues that if you want to change this, it's up to Congress to do it. Congress writes the 14th Amendment, they pass it. They're the ones who are responsible for the interpretations of this. So Kavanaugh, in his concurrence/dissent, says this is all well and good, and yeah, the executive branch doesn't have the authority by itself to rewrite constitutional interpretation, but Congress does. And what is also very interesting is what Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in his dissent, which I figured was going to be a big dissent, and it was, and Thomas is one of my favorites for a reason. He went after 19th century law that argues that birthright citizenship requires you to be domiciled here, to be legal resident here, not just being born on American soil. And he pointed to the historical context of it and actually wrote specifically, Blacks were entitled to citizenship because they were Americans. They had no other homeland, owed no allegiance to any other power. That's what Thomas wrote in his, which is the basis of the 14th Amendment. And because it was a post-Civil War amendment, it was to give citizenship to the freed slaves. Thomas went on to say that the majority built a lot of its opinion, not just on Wong Kim Ark, but on an obscure New York law that even New York gave up on in like 20 years.
Yeah.
So he really went after the majority. The majority under Chief Justice Roberts really, they didn't do a whole lot more than maintain the status quo, which is kind of expected on a big decision like this from Roberts. Roberts has been on the right side of several good decisions this year, but when it comes to something that would really upset the status of the court and where the court has been for a very, very, very long time, he wasn't going to take a very controversial stance on it. So that's kind of where Roberts ends up on this. Barrett being on it, I believe Barrett kind of leans toward where Kavanaugh was in his, that she believes the executive order is not constitutional because the president does not have the power to reinterpret a constitutional amendment, which is fair and fine, but the underlying problem is still birthright citizenship and this interpretation, or what many on the right call misinterpretation of it.
Yeah, I don't think people are real happy with that decision. They really are upset. No. And, I'm one of them. I just don't understand how you can have that and ever slow down what's going on in our country. It's just because what happened, if the left ever gets a hold of it, Joe, what you're going to have is just such a deep run of people who really aren't citizens, who then become citizens, who will vote for the left, and they'll take what they've learned in their countries and they're coming over here because of the hellhole they live in, and they'll think that, well, we're in the United States, so they'll do the hellhole better by doing the same thing we did because they see so many prosperous stuff, but it's prosperous because we free people with laws. So it's just like when people say, well, they're moving out of California and moving to Texas. Well, if they're going to vote the way they did in California and Texas, Texas is not going to be the same place in 20 years. That's the kind of stuff that concerns me.
And going back to Kavanaugh's point earlier, and the flip side of what you said, if the Democrats take control of the House and they get control of the Senate and they get the White House again, they can pass a law that permanently codifies birthright citizenship as the interpretation. So it doesn't matter what you try to do later. That's going to be the law, not just a judicial interpretation from the Supreme Court, but actual law, because basically what Kavanaugh wrote is Congress has the power to do this. Congress has not used its power properly, but Congress has the power to do this. And you know that the Democrats are going to want to get in when they've seen what it's like to be out of power. They're going to want to go in and they're going to want to codify everything they can to ensure that their position is the legal one going forward.
Oh, it's no doubt about it. And they'll do it where the Republicans won't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
They just won't do it. I mean, whether it's not right or it's unconstitutional, they just will not take a tough stand. Democrats have no problem taking a tough stance. They just never have.
And the problem here, and this came with one of the decisions yesterday or last week, is the majority pointed out last week that, and they've been pointing out a lot, that Congress has given its power away over decades. I mean, one of the big rulings was the slaughter ruling from last week, or from yesterday, when the Supreme Court's majority said Trump has the ability to fire these people at these federal agencies without cause. I mean, he can just do it on a whim. And part of what Neil Gorsuch wrote in his opinion was that Congress has given away its power over decades. And so these agencies are not just executive branch agencies. They have the power to make laws. They have the power to really act as judges on their own. Congress needs to start taking that power back. Republicans have been helping the Democrats give away Congress's power. Democrats are more than willing to take that power back. Absolutely. And the Republicans just won't do it.
Yeah. That's the part. I just had Derek on in Louisiana, and you can look at it from a national perspective. You get in power, you get to control. The people here are waiting for you to do something, and you don't do it. You don't challenge. Because let me tell you the difference, though, Joe. Democrats stick together. They ain't nobody going to move off of left to center. They just not. And yet on the Republicans, we always got a few. We always don't have quite enough votes to get where we need to get to, because there's always somebody willing to go, I guess, knife somebody in the back. I don't know what other words they even put out there. And that's always seems to be a problem. I don't care if it's local, state, or federal government. They just don't stand up and fight for the things they ought to fight for. Now, when I say that, it sounds like I'm picking on all the Republicans, but I'm not. There's always a handful that do this in this state and in this country. Always a few.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at Republicans get into office and they're fine giving away that congressional power to those executive branch agencies because they get into office, they get comfortable there. Democrats get into office, they want to make that change. You just had the Connecticut guy, Chris Murphy, just filed legislation for a $25 an hour minimum wage. They want to really push those kinds of policies. The Republicans are fine with the status quo as long as they keep that power. The Democrats get the power and they want more of it.
Well, they not only want more of it, they do what they say. And that's where I always differ from some of these Republican candidates. It's not necessarily the party. The party does all the work to get people elected. And then all of a sudden, when we get in a position to do something, and I'm saying state and national, we don't take advantage of it. Democrats get in charge. Tell you what, I always said this. Some of them get mad at me, but I'd much rather be in a foxhole. If we got an issue that we agree upon, give me a foxhole with a Democrat. You can have a Republican. If it's the same issue, I want to be in a foxhole with a Democrat because they're going to fight till they die. A Republican might jump out the foxhole, might go on the other side. I'm saying on the issue we agree on. I'm not saying on everything. But they've always fought harder than Republicans. I don't understand that.
You know, the Democrats are also mad at the Supreme Court because of the other major ruling today, which was the trans case. And this one is one where the conservative majority played out on this. Kavanaugh had the opinion on this one and pointed out that the word sex in the 1972 law on Title IX, the word sex has always meant biological sex. It's never meant anything other than that. This interpretation of sex and gender being different things is relatively new biologically or relatively new medically.
Yeah, Joe, I got to go. Appreciate the info. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll take a break. Liz Murrow's going to join us coming out of 11:30 break. So we'll talk to Liz, Attorney General. I always get word when the Attorney General wants to come see me. All right, we'll be right back. This is Moon Griffon. Hutco Roofing and Exteriors is the official roofing company of the Moon Griffon Show and are Louisiana's premier residential roofing contract. Remember, your roof protects everything, all your possessions, and most importantly, your family. And that's where Hutco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state, and that's why I endorse them. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, Hutco Roofing has you covered. Hutco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. Hutco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially now during hurricane season. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hutco Roofing. I trust Hutco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. HutcoRoofing.com. HutcoRoofing.com. They'll take care of you, I promise. You frustrated with healthcare? Sick of the rising costs and bureaucratic red tape in our current healthcare system? Outrageous premiums, and I know denied claims, confusing networks, and surprise bills? You do the right thing, eat well, stay active, make smart healthcare choices. Boom, the #1 cause of bankruptcy is healthcare. Folks, that's why you ought to make the switch to Impact Health Sharing. Impact Health Sharing. It's not insurance. It's a powerful, smart alternative, a nationwide trusted community where people help share each other's eligible medical costs. It puts people over profits without the middleman and corporate bureaucracy. Save up to 50% on an average monthly cost. Keep your doctor, transparent pricing, comprehensive healthcare support, and rewards. Plus, get more value at no extra cost. Go to impacthealthsharing.com/moon, impacthealthsharing.com/moon, or call 855-378-6777. That's go to impacthealthsharing.com/moon, or call 855-378-6777.
Get ready to yell freedom in the big $75,000 Freedom and Free Play giveaway this 4th of July at Coshada. Every half hour starting at 6 p.m. 2 lucky winners win up to $5,000 each in free play. Then at 10, it's the grand finale, and 2 winners go home with $10,000 each in free play. It's so easy to win. Just be actively playing a slot or table game with your free Advantage Club card at the time of the drawing, and you can win. Plan your escape to Louisiana's largest casino resort with the beautiful new Legacy Tower, the Dream Pool at Lazy River, and the big $75,000 Freedom and Free Play giveaway. This Saturday at Coshada, Louisiana's best bet.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Southern Industrial Hydraulics, serving all of Louisiana, where they do the right thing for the right reason the first time. Call them at 337-457-4181. They're wrapping up right now.
You're live.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Let's short segment here in about 5 minutes. We do have Attorney General Liz Murrow. I always, when I speak, and every time a district attorneys and sheriffs show up, I get a little nervous. Matthew James, Tax Pro Hotline, 844-766-6607 is the number. Somebody was laughing the other day with me. They said, boy, I was worried about you Monday coming on the air. I said, for what? What you might say. I said, then I was worried about people wanting to attack you. I said, for what? And they said, I thought you might need some Boudreaux's butt paste. I said, golly, give me a break here, man. It ain't like that. It hadn't been like that for me anyway. I got one funny story.
Does Boudreaux still make the butt paste? You know, I grew up around Boudreaux's Pharmacy, so
no,
that's a Covington product. Oh, yeah.
I think they still make it, but
it works too.
More ways than one. By the way, Brian, my hotline, and it's my friends at Matthew James, and I love them.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to go to them and sell my hotline as the Boudreaux's butt paste hotline.
Yes.
I always thought that would have been a perfect deal for my hotline, but I never pursued them because I always sold the line sold. Every time I got rid of it, somebody else stepped up.
Yeah.
So I never had a chance to get over there and talk
then
to them.
every time you went to the phone, you could go, Moon Griffon show, how's your rash?
That'd be a way to do it too. I just thought Boudreaux's butt paste hotline would be really, really good. When I used to take a lot of calls, I would have been perfect for that. By the way, my funny of the day, Paris deputy mayor blames the United States carbon emissions for deadly heat wave. They blame it. Now look, we got all these people from over there that are over here watching the World Cup, enjoying the hell out of their air conditioning. They're over here having a blast. You can go on YouTube and watch the people talking about, man, air conditioning all day. We don't even have it in there. Tickled to death. And yet, across the pond there, France has restricted the public gathering and reduced public hours for popular landmarks to protect tourists. I'm not making this up, folks. Dear American journalists, social media influence, for days, some of us have been criticizing and making fun of Paris. The lady added, Paris, because the city does not have AC in every room. She added, as the second largest emitter of greenhouse gas emissions in the world, you bear a significant amount of responsibility for global warming, blaming the United States and the consequences we in France are experiencing. They blaming us because we got air conditioning on them being hot. So in other words, if the United States would get rid of all of our air conditioning, France wouldn't be hot right now. That, by the way, follow me. This is the craziness of the left. So in other words, we're admitting all this stuff. We're causing a problem because we're using air conditioners. Your city's 90% air conditioned and not related to this. In Paris, we take responsibility. That's right. They let their people die. You realize, Brian, they've had, I forget the number. I don't know if it was 1,000 people died from drowning trying to cool down because they don't have air conditioning. You got people getting in the water that can't swim drowning because they don't have air conditioning to cool down. They're blaming us. I'm not making this up.
This is exactly why our state legislature passed a law to prevent us from being sued by this stuff.
No, I like that. That was a great thing.
That was preemptive right there. That was beautiful.
This lady who was elected in March went on to explain that Paris has implemented measures to fight air pollution, develop energy-efficient renovations of the city, arguing that air conditioning contributes to and aggravates the problem of global warming. So the answer for Paris not to be hot is for the United States to get rid of air conditioning. I'm sorry. I'm just reading between the lines here. If every American city made the same ecological transition efforts as Paris and many European cities, believe me, the whole world would be better off. So please, enough with the lecture. Just start doing your part. Get rid of the air conditioners. Not making this up, folks. I'm not making this up. Let me see. There was one. Paris felt record-breaking heat during the week. At least 48 people in France have drowned while attempting to cool off outside designated swimming areas. So people are dying. They're blaming us. Just, by the way, something else they want you to do. They want you to quit drinking so much alcohol so they limit the amount you can drink. How does that go well in South Louisiana?
Wait, the French one?
Oh, yeah.
That's a new day for France.
All right, we got to take a break. When we get back, Liz Murrow, Attorney General. Spring is here. If you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo, roux, made right here in Acadiana. Folks, I'm telling you, good doesn't even cover it. Pick up Ragin' Cajun at your favorite grocery store or go to RaginCajunFoods.com, RaginCajunFoods.com. Ragin' Cajun, the original. Ask for it. Hey, folks, looking to buy or sell land? Wildlife Land Group and its partners proudly serve Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Colorado. Our accredited land consultants specialize in timberland, cattle ranches, hunting, and recreational property, transitional and development tracts, and farmland too. Rice and crawfish, row crops, you name it. From individual landowners to publicly traded companies, Wildlife Land Group is hands-on through the entire process. Love the opportunity to serve you. Call Wildlife Land Group today at 337-345-1797. That's 337-345-1797. Jay Davison, broker. Woo! It's shucks time. It's always shucks time. Shucks is awesome. If you ever go to Abbeville, you want some real seafood fresh off the boat, you got to go to Shucks, folks. And don't forget a new location in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and they're serving hot boiled crawfish right now. So you like your great seafood and shrimp and fish and oysters. Woo, you got to go to Shucks, folks, and have you a good time because they're waiting on you and they want to serve you. Shucks in Abbeville and Lake Charles and serving hot boiled crawfish right now. You got to go to Shucks, folks, and don't forget a new location in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Louisiana's oil and gas industry creates thousands of good-paying jobs, but a flood of coastal lawsuits threatens it all. While billboard lawyers reach for massive payouts, Louisiana workers pay the price. The facts. Energy employment down 40%. Offshore energy production cut in half. Over $1 billion gone. Greedy lawyers chasing lottery payouts at the expense of Louisiana families. We don't need more lawsuits. We need more jobs. Learn more at growlouisianacoalition.com.
GeeksCon Shreveport's Comic-Con, presented by Morrison DeWitt, is back for 2026. This year's lineup includes Scream franchise icon David Arquette.
You are much prettier in person.
Meet McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
I am McLovin.
From the multi-platinum metal band Slipknot, Chris Fedd. From the cult classic sci-fi series Firefly, Summer Glau. 2 original Power Rangers, Walter Jones and David Yost. The fierce vampire Pam from HBO's True Blood, Kristen Bauer, along with anime voice stars from One Piece, Black Clover, Bleach, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and the Has-Been Hotel. It's happening August 14th through the 16th at the Shreveport Convention Center. Vendor booths are available now at ShreveportGeeks.com, and tickets are available online at ShreveportComicCon.com.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feature soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to louisianastaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The show that never backs down and never shuts up. This is the Moon Griffon Show.
You're live.
Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. We are back in conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcasting. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. With John, by the way, and the guest I got is Miss Liz Murrow. Of course, she's an attorney general. Said that you just heard the deal about the intro about the guy that never shuts up and never backs down. You wouldn't say that's true about me, huh? You didn't hear that. You heard it, Brian, didn't you? Where it came on, it says the
which
show
part? The never shuts up or the never backs down?
I think you'd agree, probably both.
Most of the time. Never shuts up. I agree about that.
I knew that was coming. I mean, if I gave you a choice, you
backs down. I don't know.
You was going to pick
we've
that
gone
one.
round and round a few times.
I ain't back down, though. You haven't even. The problem is you won't. That's the problem.
That's
you
right.
won't. Okay.
That's right.
So I'm glad I got a few minutes with you because we didn't know if we'd make it. Did you watch at least a couple of Supreme Court decisions? One dealing with the trans and another dealing with birthright citizenship.
Right.
On the trans, y'all been fighting for this for a long time.
So there was an election one too. I don't know if you noticed that one. I mean, that was
I didn't go over that one.
So,
Let's start there then. Start with the election.
So that I mean, I haven't read all of them yet. They're obviously long and detailed, and there's all kinds of concurring and dissenting opinions. So going to have to break all that down. But I mean, the upshot of Title IX was what we hoped for. I mean, which is common sense, and that's that states can protect women's spaces and protect women's sports, and it doesn't violate Title IX. So it's a shame it took us so long to get to something that is such a basic, common sense thing. But, we are glad that it's over. The election case is big because it was a First Amendment case on campaigns being able to coordinate with PACs and things like that are there to support them. And so it says that they should be able to coordinate. So it's that's a big one. I haven't read it all, but it's a big one.
But for what you know is campaigns couldn't coordinate with PACs.
Right.
Now they can.
Yeah. So I think that's the upshot of that, although I've got a lot to read on that particular opinion. These other two have kind of taken a lot of the
have you ever seen a case where somebody got in trouble because they found out that the PAC and the campaign coordinating? I've not seen one case where somebody got in trouble for that.
I mean, that's the state. I'm obviously in the state campaign finance realm here, but no, I can't say that I've ever seen an actual case where that happened. But I mean, it's still a prohibition, and I think that here in Louisiana, lots of political actors have PACs that support them. The prohibition is against coordinating with your PAC.
So in other words, that's gone.
I think that was a federal campaign challenge. Okay. I've got to go check, what all the basis was and how it rose up to SCOTUS. It does affect us because the same rationale applies. We haven't seen as many challenges directly to our campaign finance laws. Citizens United was a monument, it was a huge opinion, kind of changed a lot of things with regard to PACs and being able to advocate on issues and advocate generally in the world and their spending, right? So this is going to be a big deal. I just think we're going to have to kind of take some time to read it and absorb it and look at how it affects the state campaign finance laws. But I wouldn't expect to, it will affect our laws too.
When we get a Supreme Court decision today, it goes into effect today? They're saying somewhere it kicks in July. Tell me how that works.
So there's a
maybe there's a date on
mandate, like the opinion. The mandate actually isn't usually issued for about 30 days. That gives time for people to file a petition for rehearing or reconsideration. Usually that's not going to go anywhere, but it's still built into the process. Okay. Sometimes people will file a motion to expedite issuing the mandate. We did that recently just because there was a lot of activity that was occurring around one of our opinions. So that with Calais, they actually expedited issuing the opinion because we had deadlines and we had activity that was occurring in the district court level.
Remember that.
So they can do it. They don't always do it. And most of the time they don't need to do it. But,
no, but
so there's still been a 30-day delay usually.
But that's why I asked that, because they made a decision today. I get the 30 days. I get that it's not happening in the second because it's process. but that process normally doesn't last 6 months in a year.
No.
It's now, with the exception of 30 days or so, just to make sure everything's
right. And
okay.
and it's a declaration of what the law is and what the Constitution is, or what the statute does or doesn't require. So, I mean, it's still, the statement is still out there. So, I mean, the idea that people could just sort of go out and violate or act contrary to what the Supreme Court has just stated, I mean, courts aren't going to allow that, right? I mean, the courts are going to follow Supreme Court precedent most of the time. You know, if they take their oath of office seriously, then they're gonna feel constrained by Supreme Court precedent.
I agree with that, but let's move on to the trans issue. Okay, which is a big issue. I can't believe we even did Supreme Court to deal with. We got God on our side and science on our side, but yet we're going to the Supreme Court. But in the ruling, in the state of Louisiana, good, we're ready to go. But what about a state like California? And I brought this up earlier. So California, maybe New York, are going to flip it off and say, we're going to do what we want to do. Well, how do they get to do what they want to do? But somebody said that it would be probably a different type case for California than it is for us.
Yeah, you're going to see it. And those cases do exist. I mean, those cases have been filed where women athletes, for example, or coaches have filed claims saying that they were being discriminated against under Title IX because they were being forced out of their jobs or off the podium or into private spaces like locker rooms, and being told that Title IX required that. And that so all of that activity was being done under the umbrella and under the purported mandate of Title IX. The Supreme Court has now said, no, Title IX does not require that. Title IX does allow, and in fact was intended to protect opportunities for women in women's sports. And it's always allowed us to regulate and have private spaces for the biological sexes. So it's kind of taken that as an excuse off the table, but it also reinstates the original purpose of Title IX, which means that you're going to see some of these lawsuits progressing, showing that there was actual discrimination under Title IX against women.
Do you expect a lot of lawsuits to pop out now?
I think that we went through a phase where there was so much bullying and shaming of women who were trying to speak out about this and say that they thought that it was wrong and unfair and unsafe. And, it was disturbing. Now, I was never one of them, but I think that I know, for example, my niece was, and she's a high school student. I mean, at the time was in ninth grade. You don't think
this will bring a bunch of lawsuits now?
You have to have had an adverse. You have to have something adversely done to you to have a claim, and you can't just file a lawsuit.
Well, I agree with that, but as you read stories all across the country, and I read 1,000 of them where people were so upset with what was taken away from them, and that's what I'm saying. So, like example, somebody would have won a gold medal at a track meet, but then they're getting silver because the man beat him.
Some of these are policies. They're not Title IX driven. Some of these are policies driven by the sports organizations that embraced that same ideological push, right? They just started moving them and pressuring everybody to cave and give up whatever their personal beliefs were.
There were teams all over the country that forfeited games because they weren't going to play somebody with a belt. Right. I mean, so they never got a chance to compete for the state softball tournament or a volleyball tournament or something like that. That's what I'm saying.
And it depends on what ground. So that the opinion today is about Title IX.
Okay.
Right. So, and it upholds state laws that came in and regulated like we did and said, nope, we're going to have women's bathrooms and men's bathrooms and locker rooms. And we're going to have sports teams for women and sports teams for men. And so, there might be some co-ed teams and you can do that too, but we're not going to allow a biological man to take the place of a biological woman on a team for women. So we have laws that allow that. That's what Idaho and West Virginia, I think we're doing. So those laws have been upheld because they are not now preempted by or affected by, and Title IX has now been returned, I think, to its original meaning. It hasn't solved the problem in places like Michigan or Texas or New York or wherever, where their state laws are being interpreted or they're passing laws that are different. So it is not the end of this debate. It is not the end of the story.
Well, that was my argument
Title
earlier
IX
with somebody
is not driving this result.
This is not And the person said, well, there's more lawsuits coming that will go to Supreme Court to affect different things. So like in California may do something different because their state laws are different. That hadn't been addressed.
No, that hasn't. And I would say you can't underestimate how important the presidency is for driving policy. Like we saw this begin under the Obama administration. President Trump obviously never had this position. And then President Biden came in and just went,
crazy with it,
overboard in an all of government approach, just like attacking the energy industry. They also had an all of government approach to imposing these policies through everything.
Oh, you thought, because I got to take a break. Let me take a break. Last break of the day. Her name is Liz Murrow. She is our Attorney General. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about this. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. I was just going to get you. Have you recently cut a large check to Uncle Sam? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little-known provisions in the tax code that ultra-wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high-income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6- or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes, sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0TAX. That's 337-895-0829 or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique and tax savings may vary. You're frustrated with healthcare? Sick of the rising costs and bureaucratic red tape in our current healthcare system? Outrageous premiums, and I know denied claims, confusing networks, and surprise bills? You do the right thing, eat well, stay active, make smart healthcare choices. Boom, the number one cause of bankruptcy is healthcare. Folks, that's why you ought to make the switch to Impact Health Sharing. Impact Health Sharing. It's not insurance. It's a powerful, smart alternative, a nationwide trusted community where people help share each other's eligible medical costs. It puts people over profits without the middleman and corporate bureaucracy. Save up to 50% on an average monthly cost. Keep your doctor, transparent pricing, comprehensive healthcare support, and rewards, plus get more value at no extra cost. Go to impacthealthsharing.com/moon, impacthealthsharing.com/moon, or call 855-378-6777. That's go to impacthealthsharing.com/moon or call 855-378-6777.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift. Like, I got this. I can do this. Before I felt defeated. Now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. Visit us on Ambassador Caffrey Parkway next to Chicken Salad Chick, Baton Rouge in Town Center next to AT&T, and at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Where the truth hits hard and the volume stays up. This is the Moon Griffon Show.
You're live.
All right. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. I want to thank our friends at Guarantee Broadcast and Talk 107.3 FM for letting us come in and use their studio. Brian putting up with me more than he wants to. And all my guests, including the one I have now, Miss Liz Murrow, who is the Attorney General here. Hey, Liz, last thing, only because we visited off the air, I always thought that I wanted to see these coaches and parents and all these stuff to come out for young girls. And I'm talking about big name people. But you made a great observation in the fact that this stuff didn't pop up overnight. People were groomed and drilled for this. So if you come out against it, you get smashed. I just thought unity would be, people would be coming and the unity would be there, that if you want to get smashed, you would find out you're in a majority, not the minority. Matter of fact, you're in a super majority when it deals with girls' sports. That people don't want boys in the girls' sports. And I think they would see that. The problem is what you said earlier, that the problem is that people have been groomed and they were ready to smash anybody that got in their way.
Anybody.
And by the way, you know what I'm getting ready to when I tell you this, the legislature, when this issue has come up and you look in the crowd and some of these people coming out, freak them out at what they say and do and dress and all that stuff. And it kind of freaks people out.
Well, it does, you know, I mean, they are legitimately and were legitimately afraid of the kind of massive retaliation complex. Academia alone, I mean, we've already seen how liberal academia is.
Yeah.
As a general matter, it is just, you know, a whole liberal complex that was built to retaliate against anybody who expresses any kind of, you know, I wouldn't even call this conservative in terms of its viewpoint. It is the view of the majority of the people in this country that biological sex matters. It is the view of scientists all over this country.
I think it's the view of God and science, but I think it's not just the majority. I think it's the super duper majority if you just laid it down. That's why I said,
and fundamental fairness, people get that.
I know, but we got people winning arguments on the left with nobody to support them, but hey, they're out there in front running and hollering and doing the things they do.
Look, they weaponized the Department of Justice. They used the Department of Education to threaten federal money in massive amounts. They weaponized Hollywood. They weaponized Disney.
Yep.
They took, they took over. Corporate America was being used to implement this entire agenda. Like, you can't underestimate how massive of a push there was to try and make us accept it, whether we believed it or not.
I know, but you said something earlier. You said when the president of the United States comes out for it, like Biden and them did and Obama, they start getting all these policy changes and it gets steamrolling down. And all of a sudden we're in businesses and everything else.
Well, the regulatory system is a huge threat to corporate America, right? I mean, the ability of the government to threaten companies. You just take a look at what happened with our freedom of speech, our claim against the government about weaponizing the big social media companies during COVID. It's the same problem in a different context. There's a lot of power there to be able to take these agencies and threaten corporate America, either through the regulatory system, the legislative power, or through federal money. And those are powerful weapons. So, you saw them being used in both ways.
Wait till AI goes wrong with something. I'm not saying, I'm not against AI. I'm just saying wait till they can use that as being factual.
I mean,
you
don't
goes
have to
out.
wait. It's already happening.
I know, but what I'm saying, through the AI, internet, and all that stuff, you start believing something is normal and right, whether it is or not, because of the power of all the things you just mentioned, the federal money, the AI, corporations, whatever, once they get built into it, they use it. And by the way, you said something, the president, when the president of the United States, look, Trump has affected things already because he came in and said, here's what we're going to do.
Right.
Well, when Biden came in, he said the same thing, but it was the opposite of what some of us believe. But guess what? It was still effective. They got it all in.
Well, and I think that is a huge reason why he's not president. I mean, he was pushing policies that are not embraced by the majority of people in this country. And the attack on energy dominance and energy independence in our nation hurt our country. This cultural attack on what I think most people consider to be normal family values and a basic sense of fairness for, women in their lives. It just, I think that the majority of people are, just don't want government in the middle of their business and in their lives, and don't want to be told that their deeply held religious and cultural norms are wrong and that they're being forced to change them. And
you got a lot of people. We're getting ready to celebrate 250 here in a week. I'm not even a week, a few more days. You got a lot of people that are shooting that down to no end.
Been
and
a
they
massive
use race
attack
and
on the
everything else. And I'm
Constitution.
going, what are you doing? This country's for everybody that's an American that loves to be an American. This is for us. Black, white, male, female, no matter if you trans or not, America's for us.
And if you press that question, no matter what the criticism is, you can't say it's a perfect system. It's not there is no perfect system, but you say, what's your alternative? The only alternatives that exist are monarchy, socialism, communism. These
Marxism,
are
all
driven
the
by
same.
government control of what your thoughts are, and they take away power of self-governments. They don't grant it. And so if you press people to say, well, what's your alternative? You don't like X, you don't like Y, you don't like Z about how our government structures work. What's the best idea you've got to change it? Because it all requires handing power over to the government.
I always say when somebody starts talking about they don't love America, tell me what government you're trying to be like, what country. Just so we're going to take a look at it. Just kind of see what they're doing. Nobody ever gives us that. The answer is, but we can do it different here. No, those governments are already set up. Actually, from the Roman Empire on, they were learned. Venezuela used to be a really prosperous country. People Venezuela
every
is a
one of
hellhole.
them means you're going to take power away from the people, because we have a system that is driven by giving power to the people to elect them. You don't have to like the people that get elected, but guess what? You have a vote, and you can go out and you can organize people, and you don't get thrown in jail for that.
I tell you what,
you can do a lot of things because you have freedom of speech in this country.
If you want to take a look at it with the World Cup. The people coming to the country. You said, Brian, I know you ever watch a YouTube and just see what these people are saying? You mean to tell me I got free refills on my Coke and tea? I got air conditioning. I can lower my own thermostat. Yeah, you can.
Freddie was the most popular person on social media for the last month.
No, what I'm saying is these people are just going, and they realize we got people saying, you know what, America, I'm apologizing. Y'all the friendliest people in the world, because that's not what they're being told. And what they go through, Brian, and we just talked about Paris is blaming us for their heat wave because we got air conditioning and they don't. Just read the story.
We didn't take away their air conditioning. They took that away from themselves.
But they think it would help them if we got rid of our air conditioning. You want to get rid of air conditioning?
Heck no. I think we should put it in the Bill of Rights.
I told Brian, if he's getting rid of air conditioning, we're gonna have to go to the top floor and make sure we got some kind of breeze when we do this program.
Yeah, we're gonna have a state constitutional amendment for air conditioning. I think.
No, I mean but to just go read and listen to the stories of the people that want to come over here and they see what they gave us. We're trying to say, well, we don't want what we got. We want to be like Europe. Really?
Yeah, they don't. They're
All right,
just
Liz,
it's an uninformed opinion.
I know you had to squeeze me in, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Watch that guy right there. He picks on me every time he comes in here. If he didn't have a gun, I'd hit him. Actually, I wouldn't hit you. My hands hurt. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow back in the studio. Brian, thank you all for Guaranteed Broadcasting. We're wrapping up the Moon Griffon Show. See you tomorrow.